That's a fun.
Now I actually kind of played through some of rather like I played through like the opening here, or rather like I got to the menu, and I'm surprised over like who published this. It's like the people who like do the Telltale stuff now.
Oh.
Skybound.
Oh.
Brother.
Brother. There, Skybound.
Also, I can definitely tell that the people who made this game really enjoy Randy Savage.
Yeah.
So, I think we'll be seeing more of him here in a moment.
Do you think they're big fans of 80s wrestling in general?
Oh yeah, definitely. We're kind of at that point now. I mean, like there's a mod for No Mercy now that puts in like wrestlers from like the golden age, and it is incredibly well made. It's like stupidly well made. I would really like to play it at some point, but it's kind of like a whole new game. Like it isn't just like something that you sort of download. You need to like have like a fucking digital manual with you and figure out how to make it work. So that's a project. That's not just something you plug and play.
Oh right, I remember there was one other Sonic thing we were gonna do in the future.
I know that we were gonna do Sonic Shuffle.
Yes, that was what I was about to bring up.
I love how all these are like action figures. That's really neat.
I'll never forget when me and Logan playing Sonic Shuffle on Parsec, and the two AIs were cheating bastards and kicked our asses.
They were actually like just terrible. They were terrible. Welcome to the toy room, where every action figure, toy miniature, and plushie dreams of wrestling greatness.
Here's how it really went down.
Oh, AG.
From the board game jungles of Junglaja. Of Junglaji. Oh.
I do remember that Matt Cordona is in this game. I remember.
That makes sense. To the wintry winds of the Great North.
Diamond Cutter.
Feel the bang, baby. Oh wait, hold on. The ensemble's not complete. Hold on.
Hey, there's Wrestling Master.
There you go. Now the ensemble is finished. Now we can actually start playing the game.
Everybody in the arena was up on their feet.
Aw, Double J! Every toy lives, breathes, and craves wrestling, practicing their slams and paying homage to legends that came before them.
Can you tell that you love Randy Savage? I'd rather be that than Hulk Hogan.
Bad guys get the heat on the good guys, but in the
oh hey, we actually like have like people that are in like the industry in this. That's cool. Many tales of creativity and imagination have sprung from the toy room, and many fabled battles have taken place here, both in and out of the ring. Such one tale, and its many battles, both of the plastic and of the heart, is about to begin. And the question of this size takes not one hero, but two.
Two?
Ooh. Oh no, we're starting with a tag match?
Holla holla.
Oh, holla holla, baby. Well, you know what? It can't be any worse than like how it is in most other wrestling games. Oh yeah! Was he from Columbus?
Look at us.
Where's your meat sticks, brother? What the fuck? Huh? We're here to see the cream rise to the top. So if you want to find me, don't look sideways. Don't look behind you. Just look up. No way, Macho Man. Forfeit the match and give that championship belt to its rightful owner. Me. Listen, Lizard, you've got to earn this belt with your madness in the ring. It belongs only to the best. Yeah!
So don't threaten to kill people with your explosives.
That's why I'll be champ for a long time. Dig it?
Oh!
Yeah?
Oh, Logan, do you notice in the background? I see the guy, the star of Invincible, the Amazon show.
Oh, hey! What? Wait,
Yeah.
wait, are they, wait, actually, yes. Yes, they are able to actually do that.
Yeah.
10,000 years as world champion, ooh, yeah! Are those shades a little too dark? Can't you see I have this place rigged to blow? Explosives
Yeah.
don't scare me, you stitched up cotton ball. You can't win by cheating.
A murder.
You always think you're such a hero, don't you, Macho Man? You can't win when the deck is stacked against you this bad. And that's the bottom thread because Stone Age said so.
Ah!
Can't win. Stone Age, you are just a grain of sand in the desert of macho madness. Ooh, yeah.
So we have Stone Cold Steve Austin at home.
This is Stone Cold at home. This is Stone Cold Steve Austin that you find at home.
Scott Bayless isn't a plastic mattress.
Wow, wow, wow. Did you guys see that?
Peanuts?
Forget it, Randy. We'll never get tickets this late. Come on, we can still wrestle outside. Oh, the shitty backyard promotion. I love
Oh.
how this guy's a Lego. Go for it, Randy.
Lego.
Scott Bayless isn't a plastic mattress.
Oof. Man, how do the pros do some of those high-flying moves without hurting each other? It's called a work, brother. Are you kidding me? It's all fake. Oh, wait, we're having... No, we're starting out like this?
Don't you know wrestling's fake, guys?
Not like this! Not like this!
Not like this.
Not like this, brug. What? Watch your mouth. Yeah, Peanuts, shut it. You really think it's real? Really?
No.
It's real to me, dang it. Of course it's real.
The mark.
It's about as real as Todd. Do I have to do it?
Do what?
Go ahead and do something here real quick, Zach.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I guess.
Oh, I know what you're doing.
Yeah, we gotta listen. We gotta commit, okay? We gotta commit to the bit. We gotta commit to the fucking bit. All right. Hopefully this does it. Come on. Hey.
Hey.
Counterfeit toys are still real.
There we go.
Shut up, Todd.
Oh.
It just works. All of this just works. And you, Randy, even if wrestling was real, which it isn't, you'll never be a pro. No kid from our town ever could be. You couldn't be more wrong. Wrestling is real, and I'll be its greatest champion ever. OC. OC.
Oh, boy, what a mark.
What a mark. Several years? What the fuck? Endgame.
What is going on?
Endgame.
Rand is sent.
Ah, yes. This new outfit feels estupendo. But I better get out of the main part of the gym. Mr. Stretch wants me to train the new students.
Stretch Armstrong?
The radar in the bottom corner will help you stay on course. Icons will appear here for for quest objectives, shops, and healing. Ow! Mom, why? When in doubt, look here to keep slamming in the right direction. Alright, here we go. A new legend begins.
Oh, yeah. Look how good this game looks.
It looks so goofy. I love it.
Wait, that's your
Hello,
run
Mario.
button?
B is the run button.
So that's your run button? You're
Yeah.
doing a casual jog.
Listen. A true star in the making knows when to take their sweet time, okay? You know why, my son. I know why, because we gotta take an ad break. Raw rolls on after this.
Damn you, Twitch.
Who all do we have in chat right now? We have Zach, we have Ash and Dice, we have Radiant Griffin Graphics, we have Dakota, we have Virtually God. Hello everyone. Thank you for showing up early in the stream here. We are just getting started. Why am I leaving the objective?
Why are you leaving the objective? I'm just looking at really confused right now.
I guess I can just explore for a second. Why not?
I run to like level 10 enemies or something.
Cream Macho Man statue.
Well, that's disgusting.
What the hell is this? Over here. Face
find
to
out?
face.
Oh.
I should probably just, like, stick with the objective first. That way I can learn... That way I can learn me how to play the game.
Play the fucking game.
I'm trying. It's very hard, Zach. Immediately they put the hard stuff right in front of me, following objective markers.
Oh no, the humanity.
The humanity. Hey chat, welcome back to Raw. The game immediately outsmarted me because I lost track of the objective markers, but here we go. Now we're on the right track. Is Zach a Canadian? Zach is president.
Yeah, an under-president.
Canadians can't be president. Johnny Stretch. There you are, Randy. Get in the ring and show these greenhorns the ropes. You got it, Mr. Stretch.
Your flag's a fucking leaf.
Okay, not gonna like your mouth. I'm not gonna lie, your mouth open made me jump. In what sense? Am I scary?
They're afraid of the giraffe.
Alright, rookies. You want to learn how to wrestle? You want to discover how to win the crowd's loyalty and hear their cheers shake the very foundation of the universe? You want to become the coiled spring of excitement, the most electrifying thing the world of wrestling has ever seen? Man, this is downright poetic. Then you're in the right place, muchachos. Take some notes and soak it in. I mean, Zach. Oh. yeah, there's a little mini Zach hiding in there.
Oh yeah. I basically talk like a Terrence and Phillip character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what I thought I was Canadian.
Oh, you know what? I literally did that to you, like with the intention of it looking like South Park, and even then I forgot it. Even then I forgot.
So, wait. That's it. Wait, why do you think I'm Canadian? Oh, duh. That's why. I like South Park.
I forgot your own gimmick, dude.
Yeah. Hey, so did I.
I fucking forgot the gimmick, brother. Shit. Anyways.
How could this happen to us?
Well, you know what? Maybe if I learn the game, also high map my muscles, I see you down there. On your turn, you can strike, taunt, use an item. You're not my guy, friend. You're not my friend, buddy. You're not my buddy, guy. On your turn, you can strike, taunt, use an item, or use a gimmick. Let's practice our strikes first. There will be no holds in this match. There will be only strikes. Wait. Okay, brutal hands. Oh, it's one of these!
You like that?
It's one of these RPGs! I love this! I love these kinds of ones, and where, like, there's actually, like, timing to it. Ow.
Oh boy. That's... Oh, yes, I also love this. That's why I love Paper Mario.
That's why I love Mario and Luigi. And whenever you strike, you can earn extra damage if you're able to match the button prompt. Try it now.
Oh.
Oh, see. Nice job. A little off the top. Hype drain. Most attacks have a chance to send your opponent to the ropes. Try it, amigo. Okay.
Right.
Oh! Oh, yes, I can do a rebound! This is actually awesome. Nicely done. Check out your hype meter down at the bottom. This is a measure of how pumped up the crowd is in your favor. You can raise the hype meter by mixing up your attacks and nailing button prompts.
Ooh.
So wait, we actually need to, like, work it like a match?
Nah, it's like it's pro wrestling or something.
This might actually be the greatest game of all time. Hype up the crowd for extra damage and even to enable some powerful moves. One way you can build hype is by using the taunt option. This will generate hype equal to 2 plus your influence. All that grandstanding will leave you vulnerable, though, and you'll take an extra 25% damage for 1 round. Try taunting.
Wait, the crowd is part of the match? Wow, this is like Thousand Year Door.
Watch out, Thousand Year Door remake. You got some fucking competition. What the hell was that? Game over? What?
I briefly saw rapidly press the button.
What happened there?
I very briefly saw rapidly press the button.
I gotta go back, dude.
Wow, your first match and you lost.
I lost on the goddamn tutorial, dude.
Never mind, this game sucks.
Uninstall.
Yeah, uninstall.
Uninstall this shit. It's awful. Alright, let's go and try that again. What the hell was that?
I guess we didn't read right.
No, I guess we didn't. Yeah, like, I literally have to do this again.
Can we fast forward to... Oh, boy.
I can press the button a whole bunch, and that basically does the same thing. What's that? Throw something? Okay. Ow.
Hello, Mario.
Hey, Xavier. Long time no see. How you doing?
Long time no see.
There's no Sonic in this game. I mean... Well, actually, no. Oh, there might be. Ow. Damn it. And there might be. No, I know, dude. Oh, see. Nice job. So, like, if I wait until the last minute... I wonder what happens if I wait until the last minute.
Let's go.
Nice. It goes well. How about yourself? That was a late reply, son. Ow. Again. Listen, my pain receptors need to, like, feel it first, you know?
Alright, there's the hype meter.
You gotta check out the hype meter. This is the measure of how pumped up the crowd is. Hey! Fuck you. So I can try taunting right now. Hype up the crowd for extra damage and even to enable some powerful moves. Grandstanding will... So, like, there is a... Oh! Okay. Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it. What the hell?
What happened?
Okay, so what I'm getting, right, is that when you go down, you actually have, like, a chance to, like, let's, like, get yourself back up. But, like, I keep pressing A instead of B, which
Oh,
is...
you pressed. Oh, okay. You pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I
It all
pressed
makes
the
sense
wrong
now.
button.
Damn, pressed the wrong button. Instant fail.
You want to win?
There you are, Randy. Get in the ring and show these greenhorns the ropes. Ooh, brother, have you seen these guys? They're kicking me
really,
left, right, and sideways.
oh god, Logan! Imagine later on in the game, you have to. It's not just the B button; it could be a combination of any of the other buttons. That's
We'll
gonna
see.
mess you up so badly.
We'll see. All right, rookies, you want to learn how to wrestle? Well, you're gonna have to do it without me because clearly I'm no good for this.
Wow, what a shitty trainer you are, Logan.
I know. How the fuck did I get this job? Wait, let's try it. This is for a late reason, but for real, I do see it to the effect your model does when it's hit. Oh, what, like the neck bending thing? Ow. I already know strikes. Nice job. It's small effect when your head gets hit. I'm doing well, Xavier. Out of curiosity, what's your experience with wrestling? Okay, so like Zach, this is a very small thing, right? But it's still something that's bugging me. When you when you go to strike, right? You gotta press B and then press B again to select, and then what would you think you press next in order to like activate it?
A. It's got like firm, right?
Yes, actually, but that messes me up because like I half expect to like press B a third time.
Oh.
Yeah. And then like I'm at the other button to like back out of it. Very little.
Okay.
Well, my friend, you may have come to the right place. I don't know how much you care to, learn about it, but we're wells of knowledge. All right? We're wells of knowledge.
I wonder if there's a perfect button press.
Oh, there might be. Alright, we gotta do the height meter. Fuck you. There will be no grapples, only strikes.
It's so weird because the game didn't teach you about countering with the button prop on the screen.
Hold on. So like with this, right? The reason why I kept losing it was because I kept pressing A. So, yeah. Taunting is risky, but it can help you build hype quickly. Beware, though. If the height meter dips in your enemy's favor, they'll gain extra power instead. Speaking of extra power, let's try out a gimmick. These are special abilities and wrestling moves. Alright.
I guess we're going second one.
South of the border stunner. Grab an enemy and show them some spice. It deals damage to one target. Wow, autocorrect really likes to change my words from lie to like, lol. It would be funny if Zach's head flew off when he gets hit with the stuff redeem. I'm tired, but this is a cool game. So far, it is very silly. Ew.
Oh.
No!
Oh shit! That was fast timing right there.
I think I was scripted too, maybe. Such machismo.
Machismo.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't want your excuses.
Very silly.
I like the sound of that.
What happens if you fail the prompt after knocking an enemy into the ropes?
The world of wrestling has ever seen, brother.
I love it.
Brother!
I love the impersonator. He's so silly.
He's trying to be like,
The enemy
he's
will
trying to be
use
like-
that momentum against you, so you better nail it.
It's trying to be like Understand Jan Hulk Hogan because I heard the brother.
The only way of being an opponent to make them lose all their HP? Dios mío, no. In fact, most some other wrestlers you face will have to be pinned. Observe. Observe, like I got my ass kicked 2 times over already. Ooh yeah.
We might potentially see a third one.
This just in, it's a retirement match. If I lose this one, then Giraffe Steph needs to uninstall and just play some Donkey Kong Country.
Bet.
Alright, so see how this guy is weak and ready to drop? We call this state fatigue. You can do that by bringing them to a low HP. Some abilities may fatigue enemies as a debuff. Let's send him to the mat with a strike. Okay, I'm off to bed. Night, guys. Night, Radiant. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out briefly. There you go.
There we go.
Hello, Mario.
Hey, Snake, how you doing? Right now, this enemy is fallen. When your opponent is on the mat like this, he is ready to be put into submission. The pin button will be available in the gimmick menu.
Okay.
So what
Well,
makes you special, kid?
Yeah.
I pin opponents, brother.
Oh no, Ref just whoop.
You have to hit the button when the indicator's in the green zone.
Oh no.
What?
Rage of wee.
In bed playing DS. What you playing? If you fail the pin attempt, your enemy will kick out and recover some HP. You can always attempt to pin him again after damaging him. Every pin attempt you do, it'll get easier.
That would
Be
be
on your
really
guard there,
embarrassing.
though. What?
That would be really embarrassing if you let the timer one down like 0.
And the wrestlers can also pin you if you get too weak. Once you are pinned, there is no coming back. Also note that not all enemies will need to be pinned. Only wrestlers and other tough guys. So wait, like what else are we fighting in this game if not more wrestlers though?
Celebrities?
I'll just fight Logan Paul at some point.
Yeah. Fight the invincible guy.
Yeah, exactly. I'll fight John Cena if I want to do that because he'll be invisible. But
Will we fight Matt McMuscles?
and that covers the basics of wrestling. Strike and slam your opponent. And be sure to hit those button prompts for extra damage. Beat them up enough and you'll be softened enough for a pin. Remember to keep things exciting and interesting to keep the crowd engaged, so that you retain control over the hype beater. Thanks, Randy. Why don't you lend a hand with the other greenhorns around? When you're done, come see me in the AV room for a few lessons with the other advanced students.
Okay.
No, I know. Listen, I know.
Oh, they're fine on the ladder.
I'm already an expert at this game. Don't worry.
Don't mind the fact we lost.
Don't mind it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't pay attention to that. Just look at the important
Oh,
part.
I saw a poster for the British Bulldog.
Same, yeah. Alright, so...
This is my place.
Why does that guy look like... the guy on my right? looks like Hangman Page.
Oh my god, he does.
Alright, who here knows the secret to pumping up the crowd?
Oh man, I see Hangman Page has decided to get some shoulder pads. Spike shoulder pads.
He wants to be a road warrior now. I do. It's baby oil. Come on, Leonard. How many times do I have to tell you that baby oil is not the answer to everything?
Yeah.
Ugh. You know what? Get out of here. Go do some burpees until you puke. And wrestling's more hardcore than I remember it, dude.
Wow, it really is the 80s.
Sir, you can pump up the crowd by showing some spice in the ring. Very good, Randy, but what about before you get into the ring? I'll tell you, you gotta get on the mic and cut a promo. So hot it will ignite the crowd and burn your opponent to ash. Why is serotonin not fucking going? You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna do something here real quick. Give me a second.
Serotonin.
Why isn't serotonin working?
We need it.
I need head pats, man. I want head pats.
I demand head pat.
Oh, you know why? It's because the hotkey for it's not set up, probably. I'm gonna have to fucking do that.
Ah!
What a great impression I'm leaving on you, Xavier.
Sag.
Sag. Well, you know what? Thank you for the serotonin. Anyways, I will pretend it's there. I'll envision it in my mind's eye. How do you do this? Well, part of it is knowing your enemy, and part of it is being fast on your feet. It's time to try it. Randy, come on up here.
Nothing beats a
Cool, refreshing sip of water. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Let's see how you do with our rapid fire session. Are we in here watching tapes, dude?
I guess so. Oh
Tremor.
no, it's exposing the. Oh no, they're exposing the business.
Randy is, he has a stupid name.
The stupid wall.
Randy is better than the seismic disappointment. What the fuck, Triple H? Or,
Yeah.
or whatever it is you call yourself.
Yeah. Oh, who are you?
Randy is so weak, even I can see that he doesn't stand a chance of winning. Yeah, but can you smell what I am doing? That might be true for snakes and ladders, but we're here to wrestle, so you're going down. I'm gonna crack Candy Santos over here like a sugar cookie. And I'm gonna dump this kitty cat here into the litter box. Wait, what? What happens if I press a selection on the left? Well, you should be careful. With all that sugar and candy, you might get diabetes.
Oh.
What?
Wow, you gotta turn to me?
Oh.
No.
Zach.
I can explain myself. I got diabetes.
You're so venomous to yourself. You see, class, you can generate hype before a big match by flexing on the mic. If you want to see more, I have an old match here on the TV between the Luchador and Dash Talent, back when the Luchador was still part of Paw.
You raw?
Prior to this bout, Dash had been antagonizing the Benthic Terror with a fishing rod during his matches against other opponents, trying to hook him during a high-flying... That's super illegal, dude. That's super illegal. It's big, dude. Something's biting, you know? Alright, you slam junkies, get back to work. Except you, Randy, I have a job for you. What is it, Mr. Stretch? There's a guy from the Boxwood Extreme Wrestling, of the local wrestling league,
Hello,
over at the
Mario.
Macho Man statue. Hey, Lumi, how you doing? You know it? Ooh, boy, do I ever. Great. This BEW wrestler needs help with his gimmick. You'll know him when you see him. He's kind of between styles. Face paint and handshakes.
Quest. Oh boy.
Check out your current objectives and past accomplishments in the tracker menu. Did that bot call me mama? Not again. Not again.
Not again.
Hello, Mario. Hello, Mario. This tool will provide a summary of your quests and provide directions on where to go next. Press ZR to bring up a UI panel in the overworld. It's a helpful reminder of what you should be doing. Alright then. Can I move? Thank you. Between the homunculus and the bot, you're really creating a lot of children. Let's see here. God, that was almost as bad as that first guy's promo. Fuck you, Tremor. You're rubbing off on me. You're... Fuck you. You're rubbing off.
Fuck you, Trevor.
I am so used to the PS5's non-existent load times, dude. That, like, I'm taken aback by just, like, even, like, 10 seconds of, like, this loading here.
Real ADHD moments.
Yes! Yes! Yes, the PS5 has worsened my ADHD, chat. How could you, Sony? Not to mention my own audience calling me mom.
Mommy? Mommy?
That's so fucking based.
What, call your mommy?
That's so fucking based. Exactly, Zachary. Known for his consummate physical ow, his savage wrestling style, and his deep, gravelly voice, Macho Man Randy Savage is quite possibly the most iconic legend in wrestling. Oh yeah, they really, really, really love some Macho Man. Celebrating 29 title reigns across his 32-year career. Did he really go for 32 years? Wow.
Let me check.
Macho Man was not just a celebrated champion, but a long-standing crowd favorite as well. Whether cutting exciting promos or delivering incredible and theatrical flying elbow drops. Yeah?
But for a moment, I thought I was seeing Randy Savage on top of a bunch of Japanese Roman noodles.
Why is there why is there like a Super Sentai or like a Gundam thing over there?
Well,
you see that?
Why not? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's.
Wait.
Ah yes, because it keeps with the toy motif. I get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Guns. They look like toys.
Randy Savage won fans and accolades everywhere he went. Even today, Savage is revered by fans and wrestlers alike, with his story inspiring generation after generation. It is no secret that only someone like Macho Man can make the entire wrestling world stand up and say, "Ooh yeah!" Fun fact, or at least like based on like a little video I watched, Macho Man just like said, "Ooh yeah," because like just nothing else fit. He just like didn't know how to like express the emotions he was feeling. He just had to
Father,
get it
I
out
crave
somehow.
violence.
Like, listen, you can get into the ring. You can fucking get into the ring yourself, and you can check out the violence.
So I looked it up. He debuted in 1973 and he retired in 2000. That's like 27 years.
That's 27 years, yeah. But I wonder like where they got the other 5 years from. Oh yeah, that's right, because he showed up in TNA for like a brief moment.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
For like a cup of coffee.
It's like I guess like they count the time in between his last WCW appearance and that TNA match as like another 4 years.
Or surfer.
Right.
Who the hell is this jobber?
2004.
Like, listen, homunculus, you can get inside the ring anytime you want, okay? I mean, as far as I know, the only violence that you're good at is downing a bag of Cheetos. That's violence. That's some violence for you right there. I've seen the corpses of the bags in your room. I always was more of a fan of guys that wore face paint. Though that time Jake the Snake trapped Macho Man in the ropes and attacked him with that cobra, it would go over big in BEW. BEW. Wait, you're the guy I'm here to meet. I'm from the trading gym. I'm here to help. Ooh, great. So you see, I can't quite decide which way I should go. Should I be vibrant and electrifying, or dark and brooding? I think dark and brooding fits better. But I just love using bright colors. Oh shit, Raw rolls on after this.
Oops.
Oops. Again, I gotta install the thing. I need to install, like, the, sound cue to, like, tell me, hey, ad break. Ad break, dummy. Stay sharp.
Yeah, like rings in your ear. You're like, ad break time.
Macho man, yeah, I gotta be a macho man, I gotta be a macho man, macho man, yeah, I gotta be a macho, ooh.
Ooh.
He has such a way with words, chat. He can sing, too, did you hear that?
Yeah.
He can, like, hold a rhythm. He can fucking hold a rhythm. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. I didn't know he had it in him.
Guys, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, you know, he gets that from his mother. While the break is going on, I may as well say that, like, right now, all of what the hell?
Life.
Randy Savage.
Oh.
Thank you for the follow, I guess. You're now a member of the Long Boy Club for life. How are you doing? How are you doing, my friend? Hopefully you're doing good. Hopefully you're doing good. Have you played this game yet? I mean, I know it's rather new, so. But no, right now, most of my free time, if I can find some free time, it is broken up in between Ghost of Tsushima and Baldur's Gate 3. And listen, I need to just finish one of them. I need to finish Ghost, because if I start playing Baldur's Gate, I will never finish Ghost.
Yep. It's how it
vice
goes.
Versa.
Hello, Mario.
I'm a little more than halfway through this game so far, brother.
Because if you start playing multiple games at once, you'll never finish one.
Speaking of wrestling, Zach, can you and I tag team these voices here?
Sure.
Thank you, because I can't be reading all of it, okay?
Yeah, I get you. It's one of those games where everything you have to read. It's like it's Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog and the Ace Attorney games.
Yep.
As RPG, no less.
How about you be Jobber Gravebeard over here?
Okay.
There's his line right there.
Say we're back from break.
Yeah, we're back. Welcome back to Raw.
I gotta pick something that'll fit with the vibe of the other guys, or the writers won't know how to use me.
Oh, yeah, creative's got nothing for you, brother.
Yeah, bro.
Just stay home and collect the checks until we figure it out. Writers?
Forget it. Look, can you just go to the face paint shop for me? They have some samples I want to try out.
Sure, face paints, so the writers like you. Poor thing, babbling about writers. He must be delusional.
By the way, that looks like an anime girl right there.
That is an anime girl right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, so anime. I came all the way down from. Oh boy, that's a long word.
Omachamachi to check out
Oh,
this shrine.
Chamachi, check out the shrine. Oh yeah.
Who the hell is this over here?
Gundam. Oh wait, got to the robot.
Oh
voice
yeah,
for
hold on a
this.
sec. My daughter asked me to bring her here, and then told me not to stand by her. I guess I'm not cool enough. Oh well. Maybe I could check out that face paint shop when we're done. You go and do that, bro. I gotta go there myself and go buy a bit of gimmick for this guy. Where are you?
Sleeps and tatties.
Even in Calagaria.
Ha!
Even in Calagaria, we honor the Macho King's exceptional slamming chivalry. Oh yeah, that's right, you're a knight, huh?
Hey, let's have a chat.
It looks so normal.
Why are you just a guy? Anyways, you go.
Alright, dude, check out that fringe. Macho Man sure knew how to dress. He's like the best parts of the 80s all rolled up into one. My gosh, I'm seeing a bunch of simps here.
a bunch of Macho Man simps. Oh yeah.
Hey, stranger.
Randy Savage
Whoa.
is truly one of the best. I hope I can be like him someday. For God's sake, he's not gonna fuck you.
Ah, well,
If it isn't the Sims. He won't fuck you. But he is pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's kind of cute, though.
Good lord. You people.
You people. Let's see. What all is possible? What all can we do here? Nothing yet.
You are gated off.
We gotta go and buy some gimmick. Hold on.
Mucho gusto.
Hola, amigos. Strange. There's nobody here. Maybe they're in the back. Face paint? On your feet?
Oh.
What kind of madman would do such a thing? What the hell?
Ugh.
So, like... It's like, what is the function of this place? I kind of feel like there'll be, like, something going on here, yeah?
Chat, would you want face paint on your feet?
Feet's paint.
Take it all, gather the war paint for our overlords.
That's the wall, brother. They're looting the shop.
Here's one. Take them alive. We'll melt them down to use as plastic as war paint.
What the hell? There's murder? There's murder in this game? Oh no.
I should just try to talk in the muffled voice of this guy.
yeah, you should. It's like, what is this? There you go. I'm just gonna go ahead and just like finish him off right now. Wait, no, I missed.
How could you?
Oh my god, it really is the wall, brother.
He is the wall. Oh no, we're gonna have to watch the reveal of the wall. Oh
no. That's the wall, brother. Hey. Okay, damage dealt 33%. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, like I have a different like button press I need to do sometimes. Hey.
You gotta be on your toes the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta play the game, dude.
Let's go.
Is that it? Can I pin him? Yeah, baby. Yeah, you can. 2, 3. What the? No! I missed the
up.
prompt!
You messed up!
Fine, you know what? Fine, you know what? We'll do this. We'll do this instead. We're taunting. Let's try it again.
Alright, don't fuck this up.
I'll try not to. I'm not doing it on purpose. There you go.
Okay.
See, I can play this game, kind of.
I love the way the referee goes in and out of the ring.
Yeah, I know, it's so... Yeah, I know, it's so cool.
Oh, duct tape.
My dude literally, like slides in like he's fucking Charles Robinson. No, no,
Yeah.
no. He fucking slides into the ring like he's Titus O'Neil. Except...
Oh my god.
Except he actually makes the ring.
Yeah.
Take some notes and soak it in.
I should
Wait,
find
did
the
we
shop
murder a
owner
man?
before these wasteland slammers try to melt him down too.
We murder a man, I don't see him.
You know what? Don't worry about it, it's just a gimmick, brother. Alright, we can put on this stuff. Hold on. I know we just found, like, an elbow pad. What does that do? Let's see. Hey, there you go. Okay. We got some more protection. I cannot wait to find a party.
Yeah, holla, mi amigos.
A table. There's only one way through one of the... What the table spots? A table lock blocks your path. Unlock the table with a table spot token. Once you find one, reapproach the table to throw a wrestler through it. What?
It's pay to win.
Table locks and table spot tokens come in 3 varieties. Ah, yes, this is when the mobile game shit happens.
Imagine like the Dudley Boys doing the tail spot, but they need a token to put them through a tail.
Yeah. And he's like, Devon, get the token.
Yeah.
What fucking dorks. Love it.
Tail spot token.
No chat. What all have you been playing lately? Because once again, my free time, if I can find any, has been mostly relegated to like Ghost of Tsushima, because I'm really enjoying it. I went into it without like a lot of expectation, but oh wait, hold on.
Oh, I gotta do this with my shirt. More war paint. Our master demands it.
Somebody help! We're being robbed. I didn't realize there was actual murder in this wrestling game. Alright, so like, can the...
Yeah, Mr. Shakedown.
Mr. Shakedown. Yeah. Defense down. Yeah, baby, there you go.
Damn, some of this is fast.
It really is. Alright, let's try this one more time. There you go.
No.
I really want to know, like, if there's, like, a timing thing to this, or if it's, like, just, you know, press it beforehand, or else you won't do it.
Time for a sleep.
No!
Damn.
Nah, that could have been it. That could have been it.
Did you press the wrong button?
I did press the wrong button, yes.
Damn.
Okay, please. No!
You didn't do that, did you?
I did not mean to do that, no.
Uh-oh.
And now...
Oh, you're dead. Oh, you're not dead.
No! Kick out! I'm good. I'm good. I'm in this fight still. I'm in it still.
I didn't hear no bell.
I didn't hear no bell. There we go. Now we're good to go. Don't fuck this up. Now we're good to go. Yeah, there you go. I wonder if there are
God,
like submission holds too, and you can make them tap out.
oh god, look, I'm not looking forward to later on. Well, I bet you the pin thing is like even faster.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be real quick, dude. It's gonna be real quick.
I imagine Matt Cardona is like the final boss in this game.
I said it to you before, but I really hope that the whole angle of this game is that, like, afterwards it just zooms out and just shows, like, Matt Cardona playing with the action figures.
Really like role playing.
Wow, buddy, that was amazing. Are you a superhero? Superheroes are fake. I'm a pro wrestler. Well, whatever you are, those were some macho moves, muchacho. Yes. Macho moves, muchacho. I like the sound of that. Those blasted Wrestle Raiders, they came on down here to get supplies for the rituals to worship the Road Warriors. Hawk and Animal. What? They're gods? I wish they could emulate someone more heroic. Someone more heroic. Anyways, what can I do for you, bud? It's on the house. Amigo, I'm here for a special order.
I love the way he just twists his head when he talks.
Yeah, I know, it's great. I know that one. I can't decide between Goth and Surfer. Here they are. Oh my god, this is Sting! What?
Ha! So you want Surfer Sting or Goth Sting?
You want Surfer Sting or Crow Sting, yeah. We'll see.
the man they call Sting.
I'm wondering if you can actually, like, choose the face paint for him.
That'd be funny.
So, can I, like, buy stuff from him?
What?
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 We carry the best makeup. I'm sure you do, bud. I literally just saved this dude, and he just sits here like, what? What do you want? What could you possibly want at this time of year, at this time of day?
It's like,
Ugh, I need water.
Water.
Oh, yeah.
Here, I hope this helps in your quest at BEW. Thanks. Oh, you.
Oh yeah, I was him. Thanks. Say, what do you think I should choose?
Oh, yeah, buddy. You gotta go with the surfer style. You'll stand out more, and it suits a true hero.
Yeah, let's lean into the 80s.
Yeah. We gotta lean into surfer Sting.
Yeah. Thanks. I'll consider that. If you need me, I'll be over here practicing some catchphrases.
Figure out how to get over, brother, and I will get back to you. I don't know. This is really charming so far.
Yeah.
I can get down with this. Let me see.
Oh, we can go to two places here: the gym or the face paints.
Wait, are there like different things?
Oh, okay. I thought I saw an exclamation point.
There were no quest markers there, no.
Okay.
But yeah, chat. What all have you been playing lately? Yes. Because lately I've been... Oh, wait, hold on.
It's my domain.
Hold on, wrestling.
Hey, Randy. How'd that job go? I appreciate you doing it. It should strengthen our gym's relationship with BEW.
Yeah.
It was unexpectedly enlightening, sir. Yeah, Boxwood Extreme Wrestling is a trip. They really push for a hardcore vibe, what with all the barbed wire and edgy characters and all. Aw, oh, man, this guy's never gonna get over. I just shot his career in the foot, Zach.
Oh no! Oh no! He should have been Golf Sing then.
I'll find him in BCW within no time. But it's what you gotta do if you want to compete with the top dogs like Paw, Plush, plush and action figure wrestling. I meant enlightening about myself, sir. Great, it's always good to learn more about ourselves and strive to become better. That's enough for one day. Are you closing up again tonight? You bet, sir. Thanks, Randy. It's a dedication like that that will take you far.
Oh,
Cool.
nice.
We now have...
Well,
What the hell?
we sleep in the gym.
Please help Mr. Stretch's new students, and please help that poor BEW wrestler regain his senses. Amen. What a great day, Macho Man. I feel like I learned so much. I'm convinced, now more than ever, that we must always live out our wrestling spirit, and that the world needs heroes. Ah, yeah, Overwatch. Good night, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Man, it's like a religion over here.
What the hell, dude? Yeah, they're like religious figures.
Yeah.
This right here is peak marksmanship. You're here already? The sun hasn't even put the moon down for a 3 count yet.
Ah.
Always good to get an early start, sir. Is that a sleeping bag coming out of your locker?
Oh.
Well, it doesn't matter. Listen, I've got a surprise for everyone. Head on over to the ring when you're ready.
Oh boy.
But yeah, right now, when I'm not playing Ghost of Tsushima, right now I'm playing a multiplayer campaign of Baldur's Gate 3 with my friend Sax and Drax. So that's been very fun. That's the primary way I'm experiencing the game right now. So
have you been playing more? What's it called? That Kingdom game that you're really into?
Crusader Kings 3?
Yeah, that one.
I put it down for a bit, but like I still really enjoy it.
Mm.
All right, class, stop the flex and turn your necks. We've got a special lesson for you. Randy, get in the ring. So, like, am I a teacher or am I, like, a student? I don't really think that's clear.
Yeah, right.
I'm both.
It's this jabroni again.
Today we'll be learning about managers.
Oh,
Managers
boy.
act as an ancillary party member that provides all sorts of benefits, like new gimmicks. Open the gimmick menu. All right. Now scroll to the right to see your manager's gimmicks. All right, use the power heckle gimmick now. What? What?
Yeah.
What? Okay. Cool. I would really love it if, like, at some point they could just stop being used in the match because they help too much. Like they're just ejected from ringside.
Get out of here.
You're just wind up for like a solid 10 seconds. Out of here. Yeah. It's still one of my favorite moments of all time. Pretty cool, huh? Manager gimmicks will cost AP just like your regular gimmicks. They may also have other requirements. These gimmicks can be used by any member of your stable, so they can complement your existing abilities by filling in skill gaps. For instance, if you don't have any healing abilities, use a manager who does. Alright. It's over. Right. The fucking teacher just was like, hey, you sucked eggs in high school, and then it's over. Just like that.
It's Joe over.
It's so Joe over. Most managers will have passive skills that provide bonuses to all members of your stable. They're versatile and powerful components to your stable. Use them wisely. Sir, you kept mentioning a stable. Do you mean that sometimes we won't have to wrestle alone? Of course not. You may find some other slam junkies that you can call friend, or even brother or sister. Oh, brother. We'll talk more about that in today's advanced lesson. Head on over to the AV room when you're ready.
Okay.
Now this is how we're gonna get some traction, baby. We'll have a faction at our backs.
Yeah.
Fucking carry our weight for us.
We'll be Triple H.
Evolution is a mystery,
Yeah.
after all. What do we have in chat right now? Let's see. We have Zach. We have
Hi.
we have Ashendice. We have Dakota Redheart. We have Drac. We have Hateable Vermin. We have Virtually God, and we have Xavier. Thank you all very much for hanging with us this evening. I've been really loving this so far. This has been very goofy and very fun. So, class. Yesterday we talked about how your skills on the mic can impact your hype meter. Even more important than that is what kind of hype type you choose. Who knows what a hype type is?
Hello.
So wait, is this Pokemon? If you say baby oil, I will choke slam you. It's how you generate hype, sir. Bingo. I think a visual aid will help demonstrate this. This is a classic paw training video I scored from a flea market last month.
Whoa.
What the hell? Huh?
You see it?
Huh?
Hear it here? It's confident.
Green Gene. Welcome to
Whoa.
PAW's official hype type training video. There are many exciting personalities and real styles in the world of pro wrestling, which we will cover today. Each of these generates hype with different actions. For example, the powerhouse type, which Big Daddy Squeeze uses, builds up the crowd by dealing damage.
Check this out.
Check this out.
What the hell? Those with the showman type, like the magnificent Dash talent, generate hype by taunting and flaunting.
Oh, Ric Flair.
Sidekicks, like Yake's, rather Jaka Z, elicit cheers whenever they support another unit. Wily technicians pump up the crowd with their keen wrestling ability, which often inflicts status effects. Allow the ominous Grim Jim to demonstrate.
Grim Jim.
Cool. But never underestimate underdogs like Luchador, because the crowd loves it when they come back against the odds. Nice. You're free to choose a height type of any, from any of your characters. Experiment to find the ones that suit your style and strategy.
Okay.
Cool! Man, Zach, I didn't realize that wrestling was Pokemon, actually.
Yeah, I know, right?
Alright, so attacking generates 1 plus hype. Defeating, not pinning an opponent generates more hype. Getting a critical hit generates that much hype. All gimmicks cost an additional 10% AP. Damage reduction reduced by that. Nailing button presses during combat generates... I mean, like, this one feels like the one, right? Hitting an enemy generates plus that. Inflicting a debuff generates plus that. And dealing bonus some elemental damage generates 3 plus infinite. Normal attacks deal 15% less damage. You know what? I'm okay with that. I'm alright with that. Let's go ahead and do
Well, you
that.
already made your decision.
Yeah. I didn't really read the other ones. Okay, that's enough for now. Don't forget your essays on the poetics of pile drivers are due Monday. We get grades?
Oh man, I don't want to be schooled.
I'm gonna fail, dude. I'm gonna fail so hard. Chad, I'm gonna fail so fucking hard.
It's over.
Hey, did you guys hear? Paw is supposed to put on a dark match over in Boxwood.
Oh boy.
Dude, no way. That's incredible.
Dude.
Hey, Zach, how about you voice this guy?
Alright, Tremor.
Yeah, Tremor.
Yeah. Yeah, from what I hear, it's going to be an open event. Anyone can take part.
Wait, you don't have to discuss it in the back?
Here's the catch. This event is in Boxwood. You know the BEW is gonna try to get their guy into it.
If BEW will be selecting a fighter, they'd have to choose their championship title holder, right? All we have to do is become the BEW champion, then they'd have to pick us.
What makes you think you can become the BEW champion?
Well, listen, man, I don't know if you saw it, but I've not gone down once ever since the opening tutorial. I've grown, brother. What have you done?
Grr.
All I have to do is defeat the current champion, right?
Yeah, but BEW would have to work you into the storyline. You have to get over more to the current champion, and
Look, hombre, all I need to do is beat the current BEW champion. Then I get to be in the Paw Dark match, and maybe even earn a spot in Paw.
that's not much of a plan.
My plan is no plan. I'm the human torpedo. Watch out, Boxwood, here I come. The human torpedo is actually another Savage reference.
Ah, yeah. That guy's crazy.
Because in his words, the madness is like becoming a human torpedo.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool, so you know what? It makes sense.
I love how this guy has a game controller for that
Right.
necklace.
Dude, he has a power glove. Are you seeing
Mario.
that?
Yeah.
Hey, Ashley, how you doing?
Hey, Ashley.
How are you doing tonight? I don't know, man. He's pretty sincere. You could tell he lives and breathes this stuff.
He needs to grow up. That's not how the world works.
Okay, but you're never gonna leave wrestling school. How do you feel about that? I think his authenticity, his hope, is inspiring. Attractive, even.
Oh.
You, Zach.
Oh. Alright. Maybe a dose of reality and Box will open his eyes.
Aww. My eyes are all the way open, brother.
Estupendo.
I promise I won't fail you.
So he's basically saying that he's closing his eyes right now, like the Christian song.
He's closing his eyes like Hulk Hogan on the John. Hey, Randy, I'm locking up for the day. See you Monday. Actually, Mr. Stretch, do you have a minute? What's on your mind? Sir, I'm ready. I'm ready to enter the world of professional wrestling. Paw is putting on a dark match over in Boxwood. I plan to become the BEW champion and enter the match for a shot at the big time. I've even got my gimmick planned out. From here on, I will be the Spice himself, the south of the border savage. Muchacho Man. Ooh, see. That's quite the impressive stick, Muchacho Man. But it takes more than a gimmick to win in the world of professional wrestling. You've got the skills and the heart, kid, but you may not have the wisdom to navigate the tempestuous world of professional wrestling. Oh man, now they're breaking out the big words on me.
Yeah, oh boy.
Not without losing your soul. My soul.
You gotta learn those big words, Logan.
The world of pro wrestling is full of larger than life heroes and terrible villains. I'm not afraid, Senor Stretch. Yeah?
Oh, ad break in 5 seconds.
Uh-oh. Raw rolls on after this. I need more water.
Water. Wait, water? Why didn't you say so?
Nothing beats a cool, refreshing sip of water.
Zach, I literally just did it. What are you trying to do?
More water.
Okay, cool. Cool. I am thoroughly hydrated. I'm a water boy.
The water boy.
I'm no longer the long boy. I'm the water boy now. All hail, Water Club.
The water boy, like I'm saying. Oh boy, Navigator. Yeah, sure, why not?
And now for the actual content.
Yeah.
Based on the classic multi-million selling Super NES
Oh my
game
God.
Super Mario Kart, the first Nintendo 64 game released by Nintendo in
Do you have the Tomb Raider
1997 is
review
Mario Kart 64.
as part of
It
the
combines
Navigator
a thrill
thing?
of
Of course
racing
I
game
do.
with signature
Yeah,
gameplay.
I was hoping for
In
that.
this case, mystery items scattered in various parts of the track, which either help or hinder each racer.
Anyone who
The game
doesn't
gives
is a
players
dummy.
true feeling
Yeah.
of racing a go-kart.
Yeah.
As the kart skids sideways into turns and maneuvers quickly around obstacles. Mario Kart 64
Have you seen that
features
one video of
adaptive
like
graphics only available with
Lenite
Nintendo
in
64.
high school?
Since racing games by their
No.
very nature move at blistering speed.
It's something that
the other video
Creepshow sent
game
me a couple
systems
days
can't
ago. I
produce
need
the
to show
graphics
you it
fast
because
enough,
there's a really
causing
funny bit like
environments
with
to
Cody runs in
literally
it.
pop onto the screen in a most unrealistic fashion.
Unrealistic
The speed at which
fashion.
Nintendo 64
I love
produces
this
the
sequence
graphics
right
is an
here.
Unbelievable.
I'd say here.
93.75 megahertz
Oh.
compared to that of 33.9
Chad, can you
megahertz
please
for its
explain this
closest
gameplay
competitor.
that's about to happen?
This is a game the whole family can play. Since Mario Kart 64
He
What
thought
the-
this was the way. He thought this was the way.
It features split screen.
He says as he keeps going down in
The game
placement.
also features more than 16 courses, a battle arena mode, and includes 8 characters from the world of Mario.
Definitely.
Mario, Luigi, Peach,
Luigi.
Toad, Yoshi, Donkey Kong,
Where's the
Mario,
text in
Bowser, battling each other in the wackiest
Japanese?
racing game ever made. Mario
Hey.
Kart 64 is fun to play, except when you're losing. But
Losing.
the challenge lasts for about a week.
Why-
Only racing fanatics should
Okay,
pick it up.
another gameplay question, right? Why was he like threading the needle there between those buses, and why was he like slowing down still?
I don't know.
Why do you play like this, Tom Allen? Tom Allen, who is confirmed to be the game guy. I hate
Yep.
losing. Well, then you wouldn't like Mario Kart 64, apparently.
Or any Mario Kart for that matter.
He is, in George Wood's words, the residential game guy.
Yep. With a struggling Super Mario RPG.
Someone's gotta track this man down and send him like the remake to it. I really want to play the Mario RPG remake, by the way. It's gonna be fucking phenomenal.
But I said this earlier, but when I saw the Tomb Raider remaster announcement, in my mind I was just thinking, don't say the navigator line. Don't say the navigator line.
I mean, you can say the navigator line around me, Zach. That's legal. That's legal.
Create a Tomb Raider story in which Lara Croft gets breast cancer.
Imagine the drama, chat.
Imagine.
Imagine the drama that you would feel when seeing a story like that unfold.
Well, no, it was just I was reacting to it on Jared's stream, the direct. In my mind, I was just saying, I was just thinking, don't say the navigator line. Don't say the navigator line at like 10 in the morning.
I know it is, kid, and I know there's no stopping you, so you have my blessing. But take heed. This world has a way of stomping on goodness, so be prepared to fight. But keep slamming, and greatness can be yours. Oh, see!
Yeah.
This game's goofy. Goofy, video game.
Ah. Oh shit, what's that noise? Is Colin there?
Colin is very much in the background getting food. Yes. It's fine.
I was ringing beep beep beep.
I'm actually making chili tonight. And Colin got hot dogs. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good. I'll have to down a couple here on break. Which we're not too far away from. Holy shit.
You should eat some cream instead.
I mean, there it is.
Yeah.
It really does look like ramen noodles, though. No.
Yeah.
Zach.
Yeah?
You know what that looks like? It literally looks like one of those, it literally looks like those, like, little, cups of, ice cream, that you would get, like, at school lunch.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that would give you, like, the wooden little spoon, right? Like, that's exactly what it looks like.
Man.
But keep slamming and greatness can be yours. With these words, Muchacho Man enters the world. But can he find his way without losing his soul? We turn now to another hero looking at the same fate-fixed stars, contemplating his own path.
Ooh.
Wait, are we...
Multiple characters?
My secret, maple syrup.
Maple syrup? My secret maple syrup?
Brink Logan. Uh-oh.
Hey, it's you!
Ah, yes, my self-insert. Now this right here is the character that we were waiting for.
Wait, is that supposed to be Razor Ramon?
Let's see here. Fireworks. That's my cue. The show must be about to begin.
Oh.
Stan Logan? Huh?
Stan, oh boy, your sibling.
There are many sides to me, chat. There you are. I should have known you'd be here. You're so predictable. I like to think of it as being reliable. Yeah, speaking of being reliable, do you think that we could go over the script again real quick? You didn't read it, did you? Come on, dude. You know I've been busy with the Hockey 94 tournament.
Oh my god, he really is Canadian. He has got a hockey stick.
Okay, well, why isn't Bret Hart on the fucking thing then? Right?
Yeah.
If anything, there should be Bret Hart in the ring right now. You're such a hoser sometimes, Stag. Next, you're gonna tell me that you didn't practice our our walk-on either. Come on, we've got a little bit of time to go over it.
So you think this guy is just a homunculus friend?
What now?
You think this guy is just a homunculus friend that you have with you?
Yeah. The little homunculus friends. Finally, the game's content is beginning. I'm not gonna lie, chat. I was half expecting, like, you know, a created character of some kind.
Same,
at some
actually.
point, like, in this game, but... Listen, we already have the best character. Me.
Me! Well, like, point at yourself. Me! Oh boy, the ego begins.
The ego begins. Watch this, brother. I'm gonna teach you how to get over. I'm gonna teach you how to get over, Stag.
Jack.
No, Stag. Stag has to be my equivalent of Jack. So, like...
Oh, look, we're in Canada with all the snow.
NCW. What? I don't even run, I power walk. Look at this.
Look, he's angry.
I hate snow.
Oh my god, he even has a big hockey helmet.
It's cold, wet, and it gets everywhere.
Oh, game system.
Is this a Sega Genesis? No, it's an NES. Kinda. Wait. Let's unpack this, okay?
Okay, let's unpack.
We have what looks to be a Genesis here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like we have a Genesis-esque 6-button controllers, right?
Yep. But
the cartridges are like NES right here. See?
Yeah.
But we also have like normal sized Genesis cartridges. So like, how are we playing these NES games?
Unless this is one of those consoles from off the market where you can play both. Where you can play both NES and Genesis games.
You're so right. Chat, Zach is so right. It's literally like one of those like 2 or 3 in 1 things that you buy at like at like secondhand markets. There's a game store that is close to where I work, right? And they will sell that shit. Like I've seen it. I've seen them sell it, like, in the box and everything. And they also have a $1,000 Jaguar system with, like, the CD add-on. I don't know why it's $1,000, because, like... Because for one thing, it comes
Why?
with no games, and the place itself has no Jaguar games. You just have the system. The only reason you would buy it is if A, you already had Jaguar games, or B, you're just that big of a collector. You know?
Uh-huh.
And that thing has been rotting there for, I kid you not, at least a year. Every time I go in there,
I
it's there.
wonder why.
I need to like walk up to the guy and be like, what makes you think that this is worth? I just need to look him in the eye. I need to look him somewhere in the eye, like, like Hogan does to Sting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need to look him somewhere in the eye and ask, what makes you think that this is worth $1,000?
Oh, that's gonna be very hard to do staring him with how long your neck is.
I can look down at him, you know? Like this. I'll look down. Someone will buy it eventually. Well, well, sure, yes.
The people that pay $1,000 for that are the same people that buy. What is it? That Marvel TV show, on Disney Plus, WandaVision. That buy the WandaVision physical thing that doesn't come with anything. It's just a physical thing.
Literally a waste of plastic.
Yeah. I'm sure you know about that, Loki.
Of course I do. But by the way, can we do anything in here, or am I just like not doing the right stuff?
Well, it's not part of the objective.
Did I like ignore the objective marker again?
Yeah, you sure did, pal.
This game's hard, chat.
I can't follow simple directions.
Well, it also doesn't help that my big fucking head's in the way. This really is a problem I just make for myself. I could downsize, but then I won't be as impressive, so.
You won't be long.
Yeah, exactly. I'll only be kind of big.
Yeah, medium.
Hey, check it out. They finished the town sign.
To take the right shot.
Let's get over to the east side of town in the snow globe. Right, go to the snow globe. Pawn. Someone put WandaVision on Blu-ray? No, they didn't. It's just a box. Right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's like introducing a physical version of WandaVision. You'd be like, oh, but then that's with nothing in it. It's literally just a box of artwork on it. A DVD, like a Blu-ray case box thing with nothing in it. No Blu-ray DVD, nothing.
Is there even like a code? Is there a code to like redeem in order to get the things, or no?
I didn't hear anything of that sort when it was announced.
Wow.
I will look it up though. I will look it up.
Is it like not actually on Blu-ray though? Because I want to know if it's just plastic that they're just throwing out into the world to be put into the ocean.
I know, right?
Welcome to Pond Fork. Oh, it's you, Brink. I almost didn't recognize you with the new haircut. Knock 'em dead tonight. Log cabin. So can I like buy stuff from here? Or am I like not at that point in the game yet? Oh, hey. Why do I have such big shoulders? I love this town. Such a love for wrestling here. You know, I used to be a wrestler. Can't spell Wendigo without win, right? Sure thing. Sure thing, Mark. So I can't buy stuff from him yet. Okay. Why label it that way, then?
Yeah, I know, right?
You know, like, let me know what you find out, because I'm actually curious.
Mm-hmm.
Heck is this guy?
Okay. In July 2023, Meta Lab announced limited edition steelbooks for the series of various accessories, such as postcards, character cards, and stickers. DVD or Blu-ray discs were not included with the steelbooks.
What?
Yeah.
So like there isn't actually
As,
a Blu-ray version.
as it was not an official home media release from Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment.
That's fucking worthless.
I know, right?
What?
Uh-huh.
My dude, at that point you're just making plastic to be thrown out into the ocean. Why are you doing that?
Well, look, you want to hear something that's hilarious?
Yes.
In November, in late November, November 22 to be exact, Disney is actually releasing an Ultra HD Blu-ray of WandaVision and Loki. Like, actually, officially.
They're actually releasing it now after putting out a fake steelbook?
Yeah.
My dude, all that stuff is garbage now. It's all in the garbage.
More garbage now.
What exactly was the point of putting out a steelbook if there's nothing inside the steelbook? Like, listen, you will not... Yeah, exactly, Xavier, that's what I think. Because listen, you will never ever put that stuff inside the steelbook. You just won't. You're gonna take it out, you're gonna, like, admire it for, like, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe, and then you're gonna put it somewhere, right?
Remember, it was not an official home media release from Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment.
Although you said that, like, it will be eventually? No?
It will be eventually officially. In November 28th. Remember, it was a limited edition steelbook edition as well.
That's actually infuriating.
Yeah.
Like, why do this? You know?
What's the point?
Like, actually, what's the point? What, me too cold? It's not frostbite, it's skin training, buddy. You gotta be tough if you want to wrestle. You know what? Walt Disney better be fucking tough because they're gonna feel the wrath of the long boy here soon. For like, polluting the ocean further with worthless plastic. It's just junk.
I know, right? So much junk. Yeah, and yes, that is a great time in a fart. Yes, that is a big fart thing.
So can I, like, buy stuff from you? I've got more deals than leaves. Take a look. Hammer fist? Well, like, what do I have right now?
Logan, that's the crazy part. Limited edition as well.
Limited edition.
Uh-huh.
Hockey helmet. Okay, so I can, like, get some waist stuff and an accessory for them. Okay. Let's see. I have no money.
Oh my god, Logan, I just found a sad but funny thing about the Paper Mario remake. The Toad who talks about Fire Emblem is gone.
Nintendo learned that they don't need that marketing anymore because Fire Emblem's finally popular in the States. So
yeah, never mind. This remake is bad. Don't buy it.
It's shit now. Don't buy it.
Yeah.
Instead, play more Fire Emblem. This game takes place in the 80s. You can head off John Favreau and prevent him creating the NCU. I'll do it just for that, dude. For, like, polluting our oceans. Is this Angry Joe? Yes, it is! What?
Oh, yeah, what?
Did you see that fast count on the match last night? They done revved it up! What the fuck?
Get it. They done fucked up.
You done fucked it up! What? Okay.
I looked at his portrait, and for a moment, I thought it used his real life face and not the stylized version.
My dude, that face is the Angry Joe face that I see on my sleep paralysis demon. Like that right there literally looks like he's about to, like, sell me something on, like, a fucking infomercial, dude.
Why isn't he angry? He's smiling.
Hi, Angry Joe here with ShamWow. What? Huh? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm being inundated. Going to the match, there's a 141 and 2/3 chance of you being entertained tonight. Okay, buddy. I did not know that Joe was a wrestling guy.
Yeah, same here. That caught me by surprise.
Unless the devs are just like, Joe Marks. But yeah.
I do know Brian Zane's in this game.
There are quite a few wrestling YouTubers in this game. I know that Brian Zane is. I know that the OSW guys are here somewhere.
Hey, let's have a chat.
Etc. etc. Scott Solid. We got a great view of the arena from here. Too bad I don't have tickets to the match though.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see James Rolfe in this game.
Where's the nostalgia critic?
Alright.
I'll find Bubble Bass Mark here somewhere, chat.
Yeah, imagine.
What the heck?
Zoom out.
Whoa. Hi. Check out this sick carving I got. It says, Wrestling Rules. I got to cover up the carving I got of my ex-girlfriend's name. Ah, my wife left me and took the fucking kids.
Whoa, pass me that syrup, ready to get wild. It's wrestling time.
Should we be drinking syrup around Trent? Isn't that, his blood or something? Maybe we should switch to hot chocolate.
Huh?
You. Go.
I'm a big...
I'm a big Hinge Boys fan. I came all the way up here to check out their match tonight. Where's Dave Meltzer rating
non-matches?
Rating non-matches 3 stars, rather rating non-Japan matches 3 stars at best. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see Brink in action. He's so handsome. Is it? It is! Oh my gosh, please sign my sunglasses.
Nah.
I'll do it after the show.
Lies.
I'll do it after the show, little lady.
Lies.
So what is this universe's, equivalent to, New Japan?
Secret maple syrup.
there has to be, a parody of Meltzer in here, and where he... and where he does just, rate every match that happens there 5 stars or more.
6 stars. 7 stars.
The walk-on is all about impressing the crowd. It's about strutting and flaunting your skill. Before the actual walk-on, you'll be able to choose various elements, like an intro, music, passive ongoing effects, and an outro. Intermediate options are actions you'll perform while walking down the ramp. Nail a button press to perform them. Each element of the walk-on can increase your height for the battle. Let's try it now.
I don't feel like it.
What? Okay. Paparazzi, yeah. Why is the bitrate so bad on this?
I know, right? Oh man, I'm sorry, Internet, I can't handle this.
That isn't even the internet. That is literally just the video game.
That is so funny. It's so small.
What? That's so weird. Is he like the Bret Hart of this? Hold on. Sure, music. Let's do it. Wait, can I equip all of this? Oh wait, no, never mind. Rain, the heavens weep at what you are all about to do to your enemies. Screen shake. Why is it why is it like this?
I don't know. So weird.
Why are like the pre-rendered graphics like like bad bitrate? What? Hold on.
It's like a WWE 2K game.
It really is, yeah. That's so weird. Okay. So I guess I can like do like a big old fucking entrance and I will get more over with the crowd that way.
Sure.
What? Okay. Cool.
Oh, now the bitrate doesn't go down.
Yeah, I was about to say the bit. Yeah, now the bitrate's fine. Don't worry about it. Man, dude, you think it's WrestleMania or something with all that pyro?
Right. Uh-huh.
It takes a sharp man to take the right shot.
See? Easy execution. Thanks for the refresher, cuz.
Walk this way.
For you. Pa Logan. There you are.
Ah.
There you are. How are my boys doing? Locked and loaded for tonight, Dad. You guys read the script? Right, tonight, it's the Honest Bucks. That's us. Versus,
the Honest
versus the Hinge Boys. The Hinges are enjoying a major push as baby faces right now. We're gonna take them out, and then they'll do a reversal out of nowhere at the last minute. So we gotta lose tonight again.
Oh no,
eh?
jobbers.
Yeah, it's like we're jobbers. I hope you boys are okay with that. Of course we are, Dad. This guy's voice is more like Cena than the Cena voice actor for 2K19, actually. Of course we are, Dad. We're ready to serve North Country Wrestling. I'm proud of you, boys. The family business couldn't run without you.
We're ready to be jobbers.
Hey, man, how can you be so cool playing the jobber all the time,
Yeah.
eh? It's worth it to help out the family and the promotion. Besides, I don't mind losing when it's scripted. When it comes to a real match, I know I'm the best. We're the best, right, cuz? Exactly.
Wow.
Raw rolls on after this, sorry. Damn it.
Well, in that case. Where is it? That case.
Cool. I really hope that we get the new edition.
Uh-huh.
I threw a bit of a spanner in.
Psygnosis offers
Yeah, okay, well, you know what? This right here is just as good.
Fact, the games are so similar that once again we
question why this genre is so
is
popular.
We have yet to see any tracks that blow us out of our chairs. No huge loops, no gigantic ramp launches. No
my dude
driving
wants
through
Mario
waterfalls.
Kart out of this.
Nothing imaginative. These games are supposed to be fun first and simulation second.
Where is the creativity? Why not have a game where you have to find and drive to the hospital before your wife delivers her baby? Now that would be fun.
Rather than compete against other racers, you'd have to avoid getting arrested by keeping below the speed limit, obeying the right-of-way laws, and not tailgating. Any foul-up and the cops will pull you over. The best part is that you don't know how to get to your location. You have to read the road signs and hope you explore in the right direction.
Right.
Anyway, Formula 1
I really want
has
someone
nice,
to make it
colorful
now.
graphics and a large number of tracks, 17 to be exact.
Welcome
but
back
it's
to
still
Raw,
a jar,
chat.
folks. A jar all the way.
A jar.
Can someone make a racing game where you have to find and drive to the hospital?
Without having a map, you either look at the road signs and stuff.
As your wife's water breaks? Alright, boys, it's showtime. Just come on out when you're ready. Oh, I almost forgot. It would be a beauty if you two could take out Flars first, with a 1-2 punch kind of deal. Sure, I could set him up with wet work, and then Stag could finish him off with his antler bomb. Perfect! That'll make Lars even more heroic when he does his comeback. I'll go let the Hinge boys know about the update. Finally. Some instructions I understand, eh?
Your flag's a fucking leaf.
Oh my god, we can do this shit again.
The bit rate. It's gonna crumble
why?
again.
Why is the bit rate down?
It's so funny.
Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Hey, Invincible.
It's the Invincible guy. See him on the
Also-
top right.
There's also Bob Ross in the crowd, it looks like. See him in the upper left.
Yeah, I see him.
Alright, here we go. It's time for Raw, I guess. Or at least our equivalent to Raw.
Gotta do the job. J.O.B.
Yeah, we gotta do the J.O.B, bro.
This is who we have to face tonight. Who don't stand a chance against the... Or are they called again?
I just call them the Hidge Boys. Or Yee.
The Hidge Boys. The Hidge Boys.
Oh yeah, dude, we gotta go to the classic. The classic line. I recognize that sweater. I saw your mom knitting it this morning after I left.
Oh! Enough talk. Oz books. I got a steamy cup of hot chocolate waiting for me. I wanted to get cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's make this a quick one, brother.
Dramatic moments. Wait, dramatic moments or a happy little tree of woe? We don't call them botches, we just call them happy little accidents. Dramatic moments are special criteria that appear during boss battles and pivotal confrontations. Complete them and get special gear after the fight. Many times these are optional, but sometimes they are necessary to complete the match. Oh, so like these are... You know what? That's that was probably like what... That's probably what Papa Logan was like telling us earlier. That's what I told them earlier, chat. Now watch some masters at work. So like, hold on. What even are like the... Oh wait, summons?
Well, like Final Fantasy?
Yeah, I guess. Low blow headshot. It's just business. Snipe all 3 button presses for high damage and infliction of the demotivated status.
Nothing personal, kid.
Fuck!
Wrong button.
Okay, you know what? Let's try this. Let's try this. We're gonna go one at a time. So I think he said that we need to take out Flars first. Fatigue Flars.
Crazy bomb.
The crazy bomb! Crazy hamburger! Crazy hamburger! Hey! Okay, so we gotta fatigue... We gotta fatigue, like, the guy in, like, white and brown. Patch job. Sometimes you need a little mid-mission healing to complete a contract. Heals 1 ally. A low blow headshot. There you go. That's what we're talking about. Wait, that was simply like an atomic drop. What?
Yeah, you lied to me, game.
Okay, how about this? The antler bomb. Let's... What?
Whoa.
Yeah, baby! Ow! Fuck you.
Miss.
Come on. Yeah, baby! There you go. He's fallen. Use Stag's antler bomb on Flars. Okay, well. Let's try taunting the crowd a little bit. There you go. Okay.
The antler bomb.
Wait, can I not do it? Here. I'm gonna go ahead and try this real quick. Hey, not yet. You're supposed to use the antler bomb on me first.
Okay, hold on.
Well, listen, man, if you just got up, I would have been able to do it. If you just got up, I would have been able to fucking do it. You're the one who's got to stick to the script, buddy.
Now, can we?
Okay, now I think we can. There we go. Yeah!
Whoa!
Attempt to pin Lars, but let him kick out.
Okay.
Yeah!
Yeah. So Canadian, jeez. I got attempt to pin him now.
I gotta... Okay, nothing personnel, kid.
I'm the expert of execution.
Execution.
Hey, there you go. And now... Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna punch you. Nice. Okay, so like there's actually a chance that like it'll actually just miss entirely. Alright. Taunt. We gotta get the crowd back up on our side, chat.
Yeah.
We are the heels after all, so, you know, it makes sense for them to be on our side, I guess. Right, buck some clappers with this one. It damages all enemies. Alright. What?
Oh.
Damn!
Playing hockey. Actually playing hockey.
Yeah, yeah. Oh.
I take one shot.
For some reason, I just really like the sounds. Alright, we gotta pin Lars, but we gotta let him kick out.
Don't follow the script.
There we go.
Copy that.
Psst. Stag, this is it. Remember to break your fall. What dorks. Alright. Whoa! Dang, ring out. Oh my goodness, Lars has done it. What a reversal. The Hitch Boys have won and will continue on to Snow Slam Mania. Unbelievable. Alright, Excalibur.
Imagine if you went off script. Be like, nah, I'm gonna pin him anyways.
I wanted to see if you could do it. I'll try that next time. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Power play. Man, dude, we're strong now. We got so much HP.
Yeah, look at us.
Little smasher. So like, can I turn face at some point, or is that like not really a thing in this? Am I just like a heel for all time?
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. Speaking of, after this scene here, after this scene here, we will go on a short break. Dude, you are awesome as always. So clean, so precise. It's no wonder why they call you the expert of execution.
Ah.
Yes, we are.
Oh, yes, we are.
You.
Oh, I'm on my way. Yeah, sorry. Ha, more like the expert execution. Would you say, Flaws?
Of excretion.
Oh, extraction, yeah. Yeah, something certainly smelled tonight, and it wasn't my hot chocolate. Oh.
You Matt Lickers sure do have a way of ruining a good mood, don't ya?
A good mood? Why would Lucy put you in a good mood?
Because we did our job, Wolf for brains. All that matters is how well we play our parts.
Oh, I don't know. Winning is pretty important, right, Flars? Not that you two would know.
Good point. Maybe one day we'll be talented enough that someone can hand us a scripted victory too.
You don't know we can beat you for real? Nah, you doubt the grip of our coziness?
The girth of our coziness. Anytime the Hitch Boys want to shoot, just say the word and we'll show you what real wrestling is like. Holy shit, dude.
I CM Punk, calm down.
CM Punk.
Yeah.
Oh, great job in there, you slam junkies. The crowd loved it. This will be our best Snow Slam Mania yet.
Yeah, especially with big boys win it all. Come on, Flies.
Brink, Stag, you guys never cease to amaze me. You're the backbone of this organization. Maybe even the whole sport. I mean, man, we just lose all the time, it seems like. Man, for being the backbone, it sure does feel like we get Alright, that's enough. Let's hit the... let's go hit the hay, which in your case may be literal. Hey, Hey, that's a misconception. Moose sleep on leaves. Aw. Well, then hit the leaves, you fucking jabroni. Go home. It's at the top of 10.
Go home. It's like, just go home.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna go and get some food real quick. We're gonna take we're gonna take a bit of a break here, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us so far. Thank you to everyone who's in chat right now. That includes Zach. It includes Ashley.
Hi.
It includes Ash and Dice. It includes Drac, Hateable Vermin, Zarkon, Virtually God, and Xavier. Thank you all very much for hanging with us tonight. It has been incredibly fun so far. I've been enjoying this game immensely, even though, listen, it is very, very goofy, to a point where, like, it almost becomes a tiny bit annoying. But, you know, it's fun. I'm having a lot of fun with this. I'm having more fun with it than 2K20, I could say that much. It's much faster than that.
What? But Logan, last time you said 2K20 might be good, actually.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I really need to reassess my priorities, Zach. Chat, I think 2K20 is actually kind of good when I really think about it. For like 2 seconds and no more seconds. If I think about it for 2 seconds and no more, it's good. But then when I think about it for 3, then I realize, oh, it's still bad.
What a piece of dog shit.
What a piece of dog shit. Yeah, break time. We'll be back in a few minutes, everyone. Don't go anywhere. Let me tell you something, brother. These fucking Hidge boys, they're about the most low-life turtleneck-wearing motherfuckers I've ever seen.
From I think I'm about to be talking about these dogs.
These fucking dogs out here in the cold, barren wasteland of, I don't even know what it's called. What's it called? It's called Pond Fork. Out of all of the...
well, actually, we're in Canada.
Out of all the low-life, dog-sniffing motherfuckers I've seen here, those 2 turtleneck chumps are some of the worst I've ever seen.
Jack.
Yeah, and believe me when I say that at Snow Slam Mania, I will be in that fucking match, and I will make them wish the day that... I will make them rule the day that they cross paths with Mr. Brink Logan. Yeah!
Ow.
Ow. Which one of you chumps in the crowd did that? Huh?
Yeah, you gotta show yourself.
Welcome back, chat.
Yeah.
I'll make them sink back into their jackets. Ow. Damn it.
It's only no music.
And make them wish that they never left training. So wait, is this like my house?
Damn, what a house you have.
Wow.
What did you say?
Those Hidge boys really get to me. Such baby faces in the ring, but they're total jagoffs out of it. Hey, it's like Hulk Hogan.
Ah,
yeah. Maybe Hollywood Hogan was really just him stop living the gimmick. It's when he stopped living the gimmick.
Yeah.
Rather working a gimmick. Someday. Someday. Someday, someday, someday.
What did you say?
I just know that if I put my time into it, pay my dues, and earn my stripes, greatness will come my way. And maybe when it does, I'll put it in a submission leg lock. Ah, the figure four! Well, we still got in chat. Make yourselves known so I can say hi to you.
I don't bite. Oh, back over here now.
Hey, we're playing as two different characters. Wait, we're switching between two different characters here. Alright.
Wait, we can switch? Oh, wait, we can switch.
No, it just seems like we trade off at certain points. Looks like. And once again, all of my Twitch emotes are free on Better TTV. If you find, if you have the browser extension in there, then you can use most of them for free, I should say. Most of them for free, because some of them are just, some of them are not on there yet because there are complications with sizing and formatting. But they will be, they'll be resolved in due time. Boxwood, a rough town, but wrestling is popular here. Wait, why are they all Legos?
Yeah, alright.
I should find a place to stay while I fight to become the BEW title holder. I'm ready. Something spicy is going to happen here. I could just feel it. Ooh, see.
Oh no, we entered the Lego movie.
Everything is not very awesome, actually. What the hell
Everything
are
is, in fact,
these
awful.
chumps?
Everything is in fact awful. Ah, it's Mr. Potato Head!
Help! Armed robbery! Armed robbery! Shut him up! Troy, take his lips! Come on, man, I just got these parts. Hey, you better leave him alone, or Muchacho Man is going to show you what happens to 2-bit thugs and miscreants. Ooh, see.
Tough guy, eh? How did a guy wearing a blanket get so tough?
This isn't a blanket. It's...
This man, we'll use you as a body bag in a moment. Get him!
Why the hell does he look like that one mouse from Barnyard? Like the big rat. And like all the chains and stuff.
I'm sure you're the only one that thought of that.
No, I cannot be. Chat, you have to remember Biggie Cheese, okay? I need someone in chat to remember that. Please validate.
I need validation.
Please validate my weird thinking patterns. Fuck you.
Oh boy, this is gonna be easy.
I'll get you, Split. Man, he's down.
Damn, he's dead.
Nah. Right. Let's try this. Oh no, it's so close. Ooh! Oh, wait.
Hey, look at that. That's a trade-off you get for picking a technician. Your normal tech's do less.
Well, hey, I mean, I'm taking it to like both these guys right now. So you know what? It's all good.
Yeah.
There we go. I don't even need to pin them. There's no referee here.
Yeah, we're in the streets.
in the mean streets of BEW town.
Yeah.
Grande splash.
Blanche.
Welcome back.
Come on, let's beat it. Enjoy that blanket while you can, tough guy.
It's not a blanket.
It's an action figure.
It's. Are you okay? Mon says I was I was just about to bust those soft plastic knockoffs up. I don't need any help. What? I saved you. Without a muchacho, man, you would have been smashed. Look, tough guy, we don't need saving around here. Comprende? We can take care of ourselves.
Damn.
Wow. What are you supposed to be? Some kind of wannabe hero? What? I'm the toughest, I'm the savagest, I'm the... Listen, you seem new around here, so let me give you some advice. Keep your dumb cape and stupid shades out of other people's business. I was just trying to help.
Man.
And why is everyone coming over here and spitting on us? It's getting late. I should find a place to bed. Sorry, to bed down for the night. But I don't know if I trust any hotels here. That's okay. Nobody said the road to pro wrestling glory would be comfortable. I bet I can find a nice spot if I check that sign. First slam in the real world.
Come on, slam, guys.
Come on and slam.
Words and stuff.
BEW wrestling is tough, just like our town. Sure thing, bud. Okay, so let's see the sign here. Hotel. It's like, where am I in all this? Aha! I bet a bench in that park will be just as nice as as the floor back in the training room. The park up north might have a bench for you to crash on. That doesn't sound too sweet, dude. So wait, what about these guys? This here's my street corner. If you want a place to work or sleep, go try the park. Wait, what the?
Huh?
Oh man, we got a whole crew here.
Oh shit! I knew you were using that. I knew you were using that blanket tonight, tough guy. Too bad it isn't bulletproof though.
This is the lobster bib guy. This is the last time I'm gonna say this. Yes, it is. Get 'em, boys.
Oh no!
What the?
Oh, what the fuck?
This dude, the one in the scrap. Is that what that is? Finally, what did I tell you about coming onto my turf, Chuck Chain? We ain't got beef with you, Toy Box. We're after this out-of-towner. Really? Earlier today, you were here after my little cousin. Cousin? I gotta say, I don't see the family resemblance. Family is a funny thing, boss. Ask your sister what I meant.
Oh!
You just jimmied your last joke, Jimmy.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, trios action, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, buddy. Wait, what about the third person? Why? What was he there for, then? Muchacho Man doesn't have to fight alone. Use powerful tag team gimmicks to turn the tide of any battle. Choose prepare for a tag team with one character, and then use the right arrow to go to the list of tag team gimmicks. Cool. Let's try one. This? Bring the pain with a hard and spicy sensation. What? I got both of them here, though. What?
That's weird.
Oh. Oh, prepare the team. I got it. Okay.
Okay.
So, like, you need to spend a turn to, like, prep it. I got it. There we go.
Ooh.
Ooh. It's a grenade. Nah. Not cool.
Ooh.
Can you, like, go for, like, one of the other guys for a sec, please?
God.
Swipe what you can with this steal of a skill. Chop up. Strip them of their defenses with some alternative mechanics. Okay. Chop up. Oh. Okay. I get it. I think.
I think I
Use the
understand.
crowd's excitement to feel a height-filled slam against all enemy units. Yeah, this right here will do it. think.
Yeah. Whoa!
Yeah!
Let's go.
I literally just exploded on him, dude.
Yeah. Kaboom.
I like Toy Box Jimmy. I think.
I guess Mr. Potato Head over here isn't a playable character.
I guess not. I mean, like, listen, dude, those guys fucked him up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
He's lucky he's alive. Thanks, guy. Muchacho Man owes you big time.
The best in what I do.
Consider us even. My little cousin here says that you saved his skin earlier. Sorry for how I acted before. Jimmy says we need to take care of our own. Cousins? Hey, in Boxwood we don't have friends, only family. So don't worry about appearances.
Oh boy, it's like Fast and the Furious movies. Family.
Family. Well, in that case, you got a couch a brother can crash on? My man's is you can sleep in style tonight. Follow me. See, man, saving a potato can pay off, as you can see.
Yeah.
It can pay dividends. Remember that, chat. Hey, man, do you always sleep this heavy after a fight? You better invest in pillows then if you're gonna stay in Boxwood. No, S.A., I was just enjoying the softness of these plastic sheets. You must not have been expecting company. Yeah, sorry about that. The boys get a little greasy around here. Can't have them staining the cushions, you know? But at least you have your own blanket. Psych! I know it's not a blanket. Anyway, I'm glad you're awake. Now, we can get going. Going? Where? Around town, Holmes. Look, the last thing I want for you is to get on another gang's bad side. You understand? Life in the box. Alright.
Are we in the hood?
No, I just think we're in Chicago.
Oh, damn.
We're in basically every Midwestern big city.
Detroit.
In Detroit, yeah. This here is the market district. You got your guns and your groceries. Everything you need to survive in the box.
Guns?
To the north is the school. In the south are some homes and the local gym. And to the west is the hospital. Head there if you need some healing, duh. Duh. You could always buy some tape, too. If you exit town and go to the east, you'll hit the Backbreaker Boneyard. Best stay away from there, though, Holmes. And why is that, hombre? That junkyard is the Hubcap gang's turf. Those thugs we met last night, we have an uneasy alliance. No beef as long as they don't mess with my shop or my crew. Speaking of which, let's see if we can get you hooked up with something that packs a bit of... rather packs a bit more punch. Just pulls out a Glock.
Gun.
Just says, fuck it, I'm done with spots, and pulls it out. Welcome to Refuel and Reload. Your one stop for that which keeps you bowling. Or rather going. Bullets and gas. Hey there, TBJ. Who's the stranger? This here is Muchacho Man, a real tough guy. He already threw down with the Upgap gang. Wow! We came here to get him outfitted with something a bit more powerful.
Guns!
That's a cinch. I've got all kinds of stuff to keep you locked and loaded. Okay, but do we have money? Karate Chopper adds the slash element. Hammer Fist.
Karate chop action.
you really do. You really do. No, actually that is what happens here.
Yeah.
Worn out shoes, combat boots. That might be good. Action figure speedos. Utility belt, mohawk. With blinkers. Utility belt might Utility belt might actually be pretty good. Let's see here. I'll take a bite out of that. Headband. Wrestler One Piece. Cotton torso.
Yayo.
The hard plastic body. Soft plastic body. Asbestos ring. You might want to put a glove on before wearing this. Also, don't eat it. It reduces fire damage. Cool. It's like this just has like every... Wait, like gold teeth?
Ugh.
Armor rating 10. What?
God. Ugh.
Cool.
Like an old western.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and give him that. You have a cloth cape. Protect those fully articulated joints. Increases armor rating. Bracelet of focus keeps you free from distractions. Provides immunity to demotivation. Now you're a superhero. Provides +1 power. I could probably use a bit more of these. Script change? With the right storyline, even death is only an inconvenience. Revives a KO'd unit. I mean...
What, this is a comic book?
I mean, we're basically playing with action figures, so, you know.
God, I love that. Death is an inconvenience. It's like, yeah, just ask Marvel and DC other comic books.
The gold standard for toy-based weight gains. It's like, what do these do here? So you were some kind of stuntman in your old town. Stuntman? No stunts here, compañero. I'm a 100% all-real wrestler. Wrestling? My man, you're in the right place. I'm a big-time fan of wrestling. Amigo, Boxwood would explode if I entered the ring. This town can't handle me. This dimension can't even handle me. Jimmy, I'm going to be the greatest wrestler of all time. Huh. You may have arrived in town at just the right moment then. Are you talking about the Rather, are you talking about the Paw Dark match? Because, comparatively speaking, everything else is just a cup of coffee. I know the local wrestling organization BEW is going to make sure that their best wrestler ends up in the match. I must therefore become their best wrestler. Oh, see. Hold up a sec. Why don't you get a little taste of the local color before you bite off more than you could chew? Speak plainly, Jimmy. No riddles, just to give it to Muchacho Man straight. Come on, there's always some amateurs looking to slam at the gym. You can cut your teeth on them. More battling, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
I can... I have a chance to do even more suplex on some fucking jobbers. Let's do it.
Let's fucking go.
Let's absolutely go. But no, like, what the heck? Many attacks and abilities can cause buffs or debuffs. These are temporary effects. Yep. Check out the WrestlePedia in the pause menu to learn more. Nah, I'm good. So I have the Hammer Fist. So what about Toy Box Jimmy? Do I have anything that I can give him? Nothing that he can wear, or nothing that I don't have to really give him yet. Okay. The heck, a dinosaur? So what happens if I, like, talk to the dinosaur? My arms are too short. Sounds like a skill issue, bud.
Hey, at least he has arms, unlike giraffes.
What are you talking about?
What? Giraffes don't have arms.
Why are you taking an opportunity to step up to the plate, Zach? It's very mean of you. Are these the nasty boys? Yeah, they are.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Boxwood and the BEW, they sure do love extreme hardcore wrestling. But are they ready to get nasty? We're going to be the nastiest, the soft plastic wannabes around here. We're going to nasticize the soft plastics around here.
Doink.
Doink.
No.
Wait,
I'm sorry. I saw. Ryu.
Mean Dean Love Machine. Hey, you look pretty fit, like sculpted plastic. Excuse me? Look. Look, let me give you the back of the package version. I don't think I need somebody to win a Wait, a Twisties Cup for me? Oh. It's an award they give to the best performer over at a Twisties, the dance club. I promised my gal I would get one, but I just don't have the moves. What do you say? How about a fellow action figure? Why not? Alright, I'll do it.
From what I thought, it's a Twizzlers.
A Twizzler, yeah. Whoa, ballroom? Twisties is a different kind of dancing set. Wait, are we gonna get content claim? You'll see, just come on back when you're all finished. Wait,
what? What do you mean contact claims?
What's about to happen, chat? What's about to happen?
Oh, music.
No, Zach, you don't... That's not what I'm getting at. Chat, what's about to happen? What's about to happen here? We got Twisties. But, like, what is Twisties? What?
Dance Revolution.
DDR? What?
I was not expecting this in my wrestling game.
What? Okay, cool. You know what? We take those, I guess. There is like no rhythm here though. What?
Yeah, let's keep this up for another 20 seconds.
What?
This is so strange.
It is very strange. I have no clue what's happening. Is this like an adult club here? But like,
probably.
Like for toys and people who love pro wrestling? Success. Cool. Cool. I succeeded? Okay, cool.
Cool.
I guess I'll take this and I will go. I'll go and give it to Mean Dean over here.
There's no laws in the toy room. Take some notes and soak it in.
You have a funny way of dancing the salsa in this town. Yeah, salsa. Anyways, here, thank you for helping me out. Power boost?
Ooh. Cool.
Okay, so I guess that there are mini games to play in this too.
Cool.
Cool. It's like, that was like the weirdest version of DDR I've ever played. There was like no rhythm to it at all.
Yeah.
I was just pressing the buttons. What?
Okay. It's like one of those Game Boy Advance games.
Yeah, it's like literally like, you know...
I'm always uncertain. Wait.
Back in like the GBA days, right? There was like there were like Crash Bandicoot games, you know? And there was a secret bonus game, you probably know of it, that's like a rhythm game.
Yeah.
And it's like really strange and weird and bad. So...
Oof. Hey. Oh, wait. Are you referring to like the... Oh, no, I was just saying, when you say Crash GBA games, you're not referring to the crossover spiral, are you?
No, but I know that if you hold down the buttons, while you're booting up a Crash Nitro Kart, then you'll get, like, the dancing game.
Hey, what gives, man?
Anything to get a pinfall.
When I hit you, do I get credit for hitting two people?
Come on, you know I'm trying out a new gimmick.
Then ditch the old one. None of this half and half nonsense, you walloper.
I'll chop you up.
That's Brawny Kills.
Step on up and see if you can throw a giant gold
A
ring
local and
around
up and
the
comer.
long neck.
He's also a real hothead, loves to ruffle feathers. Let's see if you can get it, God. Ah, nah.
Or maybe you didn't. You owe me $10 either way.
Hello, Mario.
I'm still waiting in the mail for the $10. It's... Your fucking debt is mounting, bud. When's it coming?
Oh, Mario.
Hello, Mario. How are you doing, God?
I think you... Well, I think you snapped
a pinion.
Yeah, pinion.
Metaphorically, of course. I recognize the other one, the Surf Goth. He is dealing with a major identity crisis right now. All thanks to me.
Yeah.
I'm the one who wanted him to surf. Anyways, Brawny Killed is the one that you should challenge. Do that, and you could get noticed by one of BFW's report, or rather, producers. Ooh, Jimmy. Is that you, ya Matt Junkie?
Groundskeeper Willie.
I didn't think you'd be back for another match. Or do you just need help finding a seat? Ooh, Jimmy, what does he mean, another match? Were you a wrestler? Look, we don't need to ride down that particular memory lane. A wrestler? Jimmy? I'm more like a test dummy for choke slams. I tried my luck in the ring a while back and found I'm a better fan than a fighter. But at least I'm prettier than Hatch's face over here. Watch that mouth of yours, Jimmy, or you'll find yourself on the wrong side of a sitting arrangement. Ooh, I bet we could take ya. What's that now? I said you... What the fuck? I said you and your best partner wouldn't stand a chance against me and Toy Box Jimmy in the ring, amigo. You're nothing but bluster and... You're nothing but a bluster and blade. We're all wrenches and spice, hombre. You're on. Gravebird in the ring.
Come on, man. You just knocked me out of my nest.
Cool. I get to beat up Irish people.
Let's go.
Don't watch this, Phoenix. Don't watch this.
Oh, no.
Don't watch it.
Please don't watch.
Prepare for tag team. Now we're gonna get over, brother. What the?
Whoa.
Huh?
Ah!
Wasn't I, like, doing a thing here? Oh, right. Okay. There you go. Cool. Now, we gotta do the... Oh, no. Wait. Okay, first I need to build up a bit of crowd excitement. Use a gadget from your utility belt to increase your invasion. Smoke bomb? Okay.
Whoa. Like Batman over here.
Yeah, exactly. Dodge up. Come on, dodge. No, you didn't dodge!
Why didn't
you dodge? Oh, man. We're sucking balls here, dude. Come on. Fine. Now. Fine. One more time for the crowd. Nice. Dodge? No! Come on, man! Why can't you dodge anything? Okay, well, you know what? That's fine. I'll just down both of you with punches. There you go. Right now, I suppose we pin. There you go. Pin him. Yeah, baby!
Yeah. You win.
Oh.
I got pin the other one.
Okay, we gotta take out both of them. Got it. No!
Ah, you fucked up.
Oh, I fucked it. That could have been so sick, but it wasn't sick. It was actually pretty shit.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
that was the opposite of sick.
Okay, one more time. One more time. We can do this.
Hello, Mario.
Hey, Odie, how you doing? It's been a little bit, yeah. Hopefully you're keeping well, friend.
Mama.
I've been well. I've been well. I've just been kind of, doing my own thing over here. You know what? I literally just remembered about, like, something I quote retweeted today. It's about, like, the worst lies that Hulk Hogan ever told, and a lot of them I already know about. Like, for those of you who are not in the know, Hulk Hogan is a massive bullshitter, and he has said a lot, like, of really crazy things. He says that he can add days to his calendar by going back and forth from the U.S. to Japan. He fucking said that he tried to play bass in Metallica.
Yep.
And that he even communicated, like, with the band about it, but, like, the band has said, no, we've never talked to Hulk Hogan. And he changed his story up to sort of rectify that. He's lied about a sick kid in Wembley dying before the show, a show that he wasn't even on, and he made a song based around that called Hulkster in Heaven on this fake make-believe kid.
Oh my lord.
My favorite one, though, is,
No holds barred.
Yeah, like, the fucking way that he says that him and Vince McMahon came up with the final fight scene of No Holds Barred. Because, apparently, as the story goes, him and Vince got a hotel room, right? And they stayed in that hotel room because they thought, like, the script was so bad, and they stayed in that hotel room, and they rewrote the whole thing, apparently. Like, with no sleep between the both of them. And as they were finishing up the script and trying to figure out how the final fight scene happens, Hogan was like, screw this, I'm gonna go take a dump. And when he sat, like, on the toilet, he began, like, daydreaming, right? And in his head, the whole of the final fight scene in No Holds Barred played out, like, in his head as he was on the can.
Sure, Hogan, sure.
And that apparently is how we got the gripping ending fight scene of No Holds Barred.
Oh yeah, it's so gripping. It's so good.
Next time when I think I'm gonna have good ideas, I need to, like, ask myself, am I on the toilet when I think of them?
Yeah, yeah, and you need to look and you just need to sit on the toilet and daydream about them.
Yeah, I know.
Ugh. Maybe I should try giving that includes a helmet. My head is killing me.
That was amazing. Hey, Brawny, you were almost as good as a suplex dummy out there. Oof. I think I need to sit down. Muchacho man. Muchacho man says, I really owe you one. Introduce me to one of those BEW organizers and we'll call it even, Jimmy. Where can we find one? We'd have to take a reverse trip. Rather a reverse field trip. Haha. Oh, okay. Are you telling me that one of them moonlights as a teacher? Oh no.
Oh no.
How about you?
Or surfer.
Yeah, a helmet. Maybe some body armor. That'd be a good gimmick.
Maybe I should get a better chair. Rather, a bigger chair. But no, like, if you go into that, like, thread on Twitter, you will find, like, a whole bunch of just people, like, rattling off a lot of things that I already heard of, to be fair. But, like, apparently, like, there's also people making up lies about Hogan telling lies, too. So, like, it's lieception, you know?
Oh, look, and fight. Fightful Select. You saw that?
Wait, where? Where? I didn't see it.
Go. Gotta go back.
Okay, I'm going back. Let it take its time. Damn it.
Yeah,
Okay.
just take your time. Yeah, there. See, fight.
That is simply Fight Network. That's not Fightful.
Yeah, the Fight Network.
Mhm.
I know I bought Impact pay-per-views on that.
Yeah. That is where you get like most pay-per-views these days that are not WWE.
Mm-hmm.
If you're
Or
from the
AEW.
UK, that's how you watch AEW. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But no, look, one of my favorite Hulk Hogan lies is him saying that they totally will have lied down for Andre the Giant. Sure you would, Hogan.
You would have lied down for him if he like lost some weight, apparently, because Hogan's memory of how Andre weighed in the Silverdome, that keeps changing, and what's more, he keeps getting heavier with every single time he tells the story.
I think he actually just doesn't know.
He probably doesn't. I don't think anyone knows. But at first he said he was 500 pounds, and then 600 pounds later on, and now his account is 700 pounds. 700 pounds for like Andre the Giant, which I get he's like one of like the biggest fucking ever to fucking do it in the ring. But that's just crazy.
When you look at him, that does not look like a 700-pound man.
No, it doesn't. Hey, look, Dr. Bay, meet my friend. Oh, we've met. The good doctor here doesn't appreciate a healthy dose of spice. I'm not that kind of doctor, blockhead. Barbe, muchacho here say the tot from the hubcap gang. And if you were doing your job, Jimmy, he wouldn't have been jumped in the first place. I told you to get Tot's butt to class, remember? He's way too bright to be banging around with you and your crew all day. Oh, you just missed it! That was so close, I saw it. Anyways, Xavier, you gotta mail the $10 now. I expect it. You know what? I keep saying it, and yet it doesn't happen.
Where's my money? Basically.
Y'all are like $1,000 deep combined between everyone in chat. Anyone who's ever redeemed that, combined, you're all at least like $1,000 deep at this point. It wasn't my fault. The hubcap game broke our...
It wasn't my fault.
Oh, now I'm supposed to be surprised that some hood rats didn't keep their word? Maybe you need to go to school too, Jimmy.
Oh.
Wow. She ain't taking no shit. Someone woke up on the wrong side of the package. Ah, don't worry about her. She's that way with everyone. Her name refers to razor burn and her personality. Come on, I'll introduce you to the BAW promoter. He works out of a school. You'll see. No, like chat, between all of y'all.
The last principal was weak. That's why he's been eaten.
What the hell?
Okay.
Who the hell is this guy?
Who's this jabroni?
It's Principal Robbie. Ah, Actually, can you voice this, please?
yeah, sure. Just ask me anytime with the voice.
Cool.
Toy Box Jimmy. One of Boxwood High's finest graduates. I always go far.
Raise my money.
My shop is a block away.
Exactly. Most of your classmates never even made it out of school.
So you're the one who can help me get into some AEW fights for a chance at the championship title.
I might be if you can make it worth my while.
Worth your while? Worth your while? Amigo, seeing the Spice himself unleash in the ring is one of the most powerful experiences known to toy kind. It'll charge your batteries just looking at it. It's so...
Yeah, you're exciting to watch. I get it. But that's not what I meant.
What?
Huh?
Huh?
Huh? Why'd you call it? You see, I have a slight slim problem.
Slime problem.
Yeah, a slight slime problem.
Oh yeah, Slime Rancher, dude. It sounds like you need to call your janitor, compañero.
Oh, this is no sawdust problem. There's a creature on the outskirts of town named Slimy. He's a wrestling manager and promoter. Likes to think of himself as a rival, but he doesn't see the beauty of the special events I have planned.
Special. Oh yeah, premium live events.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
I'm interested in making wrestling into more exciting entertainment.
Oh no.
Better entertainment means more ticket sales. We get more money in the school's bank accounts. Maybe more of Jimmy's classmates can finally graduate.
Man, your school sounds shit, bud.
I don't know, we have Vince McMahon over here.
I was about to say, sports entertainment much?
Yeah.
Look, I don't know what you think we do, but I've never recycled anyone before, and I'm not looking to start now.
Whoa. Who said anything about recycling? That's a dirty business. There's no money in that. I just want you and your spicy friend here to have a conversation with them.
Wait, okay, so like death in this universe is called recycling?
Oh.
Amigo, if it gets me back in the ring and funds this fine educational institution, you know the muchacho man can't say no.
I knew you were an all-star athlete and student the moment you walked in. But wait, I say his name Machillo?
No, muchacho.
Muchacho.
Cool, I guess we're gonna go and do some stuff now.
I guess.
I'm trying to think of some of the other just like really, really crazy stuff that Hulk Hogan has said and done. Hey, Barbie. Forget something? Did you two have a meeting with Principal Robbie? What's it to you? Maybe you should follow your own advice about keeping your nose out of other people's business.
Ooh.
This school is my business. Hey, take it easy, Dr. Babe. We're just running a little errand for the principal. And, extracurricular activity. You get what I'm saying?
Ow.
Perfectly. Which is why you'll need a chaperone.
Oh. So there's now like 40 seconds.
It's school policy. Look, these students are everything. Anything that goes on at this school, I want to be a part of. You understand? Whatever, Deech. Slimy's in the junkyard, outside of Boxwood to the east. Let's roll. Okay, cool. Extra credits! Credits! What was that, Mrs. Puff?
Oh my god.
The teacher's ace in the hole.
Ooh.
Let's see here.
Still not the party.
I need, like, a larger map here. Or I need to just move my big dumb head.
You're a long boy, though.
It's a blessing and a curse, chat. It's a blessing and also a curse. I must bear it.
Mm-hmm.
With great power comes... What the what?
Huh?
No. Don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare.
I hope this game autosaved.
I hope it autosaves. If not, then we're calling it quits, chat.
Please say psych.
Please. 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 Please, 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 please. Is it autosave? With great power comes great hatred.
I'm scared.
Continue?
Continue.
Continue. What?
I'm nervous over here.
One. Please. Please.
Please.
Miyamoto, load faster! Load this shit faster, Miyamoto! Wait, okay, hold on.
Hold.
Okay,
hold.
sweet. Sweet, it does autosave.
Okay, I got nervous.
Wait a minute, Jimmy. Okay. That
I
scared
got
the
so
shit
nervous.
out of me.
Yeah.
Phew!
I can't believe the game just crashed like that, though.
I can't believe it either. It was scary. Okay. Wait. Okay, Zach, can you voice this character, please?
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, this girl?
Yeah, this woman. Here.
Wait a minute, Jimmy. Isn't this the Hubcat gang's turf?
I thought you didn't care about us community organizations and our truces. Besides, this is the only way to get to Slimy. Let's just get in and get out before they even know we're here. I like that crazed fan that stole a wrestling singlet at Mega Slam Mayhem last year. No one's gonna know what the fuck that is, bud. Right on. Hey, Teach, what do you think that yellow box, that yellow control box does?
Oh my god.
That scared me so bad. I'm still recovering.
Why did it crash? That's
I don't
so
know.
Weird.
Smashing these can clear a path and reward secrets. Got it. Hey! I get more hype for it?
Let's go.
Cool. Oh, I get pickups. Get ready for the next match!
Yeah.
Can't escape from crossing fate. You know, unless the game crashes again.
That would be awful.
That was so scary. Anyways, prepare for a tag team match.
We both really had these psych moments.
We really did. The Boxwood special. You can't stop Boxwood's finest. Match the button inputs for extra damage on every attack. Wait, hold on. Daily Apple. Heals one party member. Okay, but like how strong is wait, hold on. Ah, dang it. I've run out of snoozes, chat, and ad's gonna play here in a second. Raw rolls on.
Man.
Raw rolls on after this. I've run out of freezes. I'm sorry.
We're sorry.
We're sorry.
Sorry.
We're sorry.
Time for Gitsy then.
Yeah, you're right. He'll be here. He'll be here when we get back.
Yeah.
The ape is back, and
The ape is back, chat.
Donkey Kong Country. What makes this game so remarkable is that it's the first game created with fully rendered graphics. What the heck is fully rendered? To put it in a nutshell, fully rendered means that the characters and all other graphics were created by computer modeling from all sides and angles of the objects. Thus, animation is totally complete and uninhibited using any view of the object.
Only you can make that sound like rocket science, George.
That which was used to create the dinosaurs of Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park.
Okay, now
The Mask. One of the best examples.
Okay, now
of the
say it
3D
like in a
rendering
way that
in
my
this
grandma
game
can
is the water
understand.
level. The shark, also known as Chomps Jr.,
Chomps
is an incredible
Jr.?
sight.
Oh, what?
The animation
Wow.
of everything in the game, as well as all the backgrounds, were created with rendering techniques on the Silicon Graphics computers. This amazing new technology, discovered at Rare by Nintendo's Tony Harmon.
Ah, yes, the
next standard in video game
pioneers
animation
discovered.
graphics. This technology marks a new era. The programmers
They
of
just
Donkey
found it
Kong
like in its
Country were
backyard.
able to stretch their creative minds, since Donkey Kong doesn't have a particularly detailed history.
They found that
The main
shit in
idea
their
of the story is
backyard
that
and
you're
were
trying
like,
to get
let's
back
make
bananas
Donkey
that were
Kong,
stolen
gang.
from your stockpile. Kong, Diddy are the main monkey characters, but throughout the travels on the island of Donkey Kong Country, you'll encounter several characters that are extremely diverse.
What would it be
in
like if we made
From
our
an
own
ostrich
Gitsy
named
video?
Espresso to a rhino named Rambi, the game has endless thrills and is
I'm not
simply
kidding.
destined for greatness.
I honestly
Cranky
think that it
Kong,
might be
the
really
star of
fun
the
to like
original
try and make a
game,
Gitsy
and
video.
also DK's grandfather will give you advice throughout the game. He thinks
We'll
you
literally
need it.
sit here,
Hundreds
write
of
it, and
bonus
we'll figure
levels
out the
result in a
game, too.
That will never be boring. The music also adds a lot to the game.
Play it loud in stereo, dude.
You can buy the music on CD from Nintendo if your Nintendo isn't hooked up to a stereo system. Cranky Kong remembers music in the old days, but Donkey Kong is truly with the times, so to speak. His music is great for listening. Just pause the game to hear the music without the game's sound effects. Speaking of sound effects, you'll notice the quality of the echoes in the caves and Donkey Kong's 8 noises.
You'll notice the great sound.
Donkey Kong Country is truly perfect. If you do not get this amazing new generation of Donkey Kong madness, you are stupid.
You are stupid.
Yes, I know. That's insulting.
But it's also the truth.
If you're a true video game fan, you will not hesitate in the slightest bit to buy this remarkable piece of video game history.
You are stupid, chat.
And then you think it ends, but then it just keeps going.
Bottom line, get
I was
it
about
now.
to say, yeah, he
The
really
graphics
just,
are an example
he really
of a
just keeps
revolution.
going after
Play
that.
control is very responsive and monkey feeling. The challenge is
Monkey
high because
feeling.
you must often pass several hard levels to reach Candy's
What does a
save
monkey
point.
feel like, chat?
The two-player game option is awesome, since you can press A to let another player
Well, actually,
play.
I should probably know
What's
because I
even
actually
cooler
had a monkey
is the way
on
the
my
game
shoulder
lets
at
the
one
next
point.
player pick up where the last player died without interrupting gameplay. If you want the other player to play, just press A. These features and so much more make Donkey Kong Country the game of the decade.
Oh, I love the ending.
The game of the decade.
I love the ending, dude.
Oh yeah.
Why? Why have the game over screen? It's oddly made more ominous, you know?
You know, it's funny, Logan. He technically wasn't wrong since many people thought it was the game of the decade.
I don't know, man. I'm more of a Mario RPG truther myself.
Well,
I mean, I like
still,
Donkey Kong
technically
Country,
wasn't-
but like, listen, I enjoy Mario RPG a bit more. So
I do, but I'm just saying, he's technically not wrong.
fuck.
Oh, you missed! How could you miss?
Oh, okay. Well, it's still hit though. Cool. But no, like, I remember playing Mario RPG probably before the pandemic, actually. And I really, really loved it. It was really good.
I forget, Logan. You played the Paper Mario games?
No, I have not, actually. I've not played the Paper Mario games.
They kept the noose in the Thousand Year Door remake.
They kept the noose?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Grande Splash. Let's go.
Man, look, I can't wait for you to check out the Thousand Year Door.
I'll play it at some point. I literally have it. I literally have it like downloaded to play on my Dolphin emulator. Right. But like, I've just not played it yet. Why not? Because, well, there is just a lot of shit to play. There's a lot of shit to play. I don't have time, unfortunately. Okay, we got a prepare tag team.
Now you have a reason to play the remake.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I can't do one with her. Shit.
Pain.
Now whatever, I'll just go ahead and chop. Punch, kick, chop. Ugh. Ow. You know, I don't really feel like using my specials on you.
But no, chat. I was on Jared's stream, and we were like, I streamed the Town Direct. When I saw 1,000 Year Door, I felt like, you could hear my reaction, I felt like I was gonna cry tears of joy. Like, actually emotional. Yeah, I guess because it's 1,000 Year Door and Year to Paper Mario were like my childhood games.
You felt David Cage emotion. Yes.
I did. I actually did.
you felt David Cage style emotion.
Yeah, I had no idea how fucking happy I was.
I'm sure.
I was like, I tears of joy.
I'm sure you were.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I was not really able to watch it because, well, I was at work. So.
Yeah, but sure, I bet you're just like, ooh, when you saw that Paper Mario announcement.
Mm-hmm. I was very happy with it.
Mario RPG fans are actually eating good right now for Super Mario RPG and not Paper Mario.
Really are, yeah.
Now the only thing that's missing is Mario and Luigi. Which I'm not sure we'll ever see again, unfortunately. Now that
because like the devs are, I mean the devs are gone, yeah.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
I mean, who's making the Mario RPG remake?
It wasn't stated, but I'm willing to bet Intelligent Systems.
Yeah, like I imagine it's being developed internally.
Yeah. Oh, which funny enough, yeah, Intelligent Systems. The same people that make Fire Emblem.
Is it actually being made by Intelligent Systems?
Well, we don't know, but I imagine it's being made by Intelligent Systems.
All right.
Yeah, they made all the Paper Mario games. They made all the Paper Mario games at this point, so I don't see why not.
Sure. Yeah. All right. This time I'm actually gonna hit it. There you go.
I will laugh if you did.
I finally did the thing. Counter, garbage dumped. What the? Hey!
Garbage day.
Shark song. Oh. Oh, that's a stat debuff thing. Okay. Swap what you can with this steal of a skill. What if I try this? What does this do? Stolen? A trash can lid? Okay. Sure, I guess we take those. There you go. That didn't do anything. Dang it.
Wow, fucking nothing.
Fine.
Piece of shit.
How about you, jabroni? There you go. Hey! Garbage.
Hey.
Nice. Cool. Nice. But no, I didn't really... I mean, that was like the second Nintendo Direct I missed, because I missed the one where like Mario RPG remake was announced, and I missed like this one too. So
I find funny both of the Nintendo Directs you missed had to do with Mario RPGs getting announced.
Well, you know, that is simply my luck as a news person, I guess. Doesn't really leave you a lot of time. I probably would have loved to hear your reaction, though. It was probably, like, really good.
Don't worry, Jared's gonna upload that on his bot channel. Get to
Great.
hear it. Yeah.
Domination is the only way to run a classroom.
Ooh. Okay, we got one of them. Wait. -8 SP. Okay. Wrestle Raider. Try this. Okay. Is that like a Pez dispenser? Oh no. Alright, hold on. We gotta do something drastic here.
I'll be in a few minutes.
Okay. We gotta do something drastic here, chat. Throw out all the stops. Alright, cool. Pill's no longer being popped. Nice. Woo! Cool. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, we pin him. Okay. Where the hell's the referee coming from? Like this Mad Max style world here that we found ourselves in. Cool, we got him. It's like, what is all this stuff we're finding here? What, like, utility does it have? Man, we have a whole lot of things that we've learned. We gotta use, like, these fucking team-up attacks. Most def. Yeah, like chat, unfortunately, I was not able to really watch the Nintendo Direct, but thinking about it more, I'm very excited to play on F-Zero 99. I mean, like, I already know it's out. I just need to spend a minute to play it. Frankly, like, when I really think about it, that kind of style works pretty well for F-Zero, because the survivability aspect of the races are already kind of part of the game. So, if anything, it works out pretty well. I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of the concept. Okay, I can... or I could just keep grinding a little longer and just keep and building up experience points. I could just keep doing that. I'll do that one more time. But no, chat, like, when Mario... when Mario RPG drops, you best believe I'm playing the shit out of that. You can just see so much, like, of what, like, Mario RPGs would kind of become.
Okay, prove up the line.
With that game. What's Blank Slate? Oh, okay. Damages units with combustible fire. Okay, what about this right here?
Time for a special assignment.
Cool. Nice. Oh. Oh. Oh, hold on a second. I'll just go ahead and prepare real quick. We're hyping up, dude. We're hyping up the fucking team. Come on. Miss. No, asleep! Shit! No! Damn it. No, we gotta remove the status effects. Strip them of their defenses with some alternate mechanics.
Bring in the action.
How's this, then? Failed? Come on. Chemistry class, blank slate. May as well do blank slate. Let's try it. There you go. Alright, a grande smash. Let's fucking get it. No, Chad, I can say, like, now that, last time that we kind of, talked about wrestling on this stream, like, at length, I just really wasn't feeling it at that point in time, because, you know, like, the Punk stuff happened again, and we're probably gonna be dealing with the fallout of that for a while. So, like, I wasn't really, like, jazzed about, like, wrestling in general at that time period, but, you know, that feeling's coming back. That, like, feeling to sort of watch it again is coming back, and it seems like there's some pretty cool stuff happening, so, yeah.
I'm back. What are you talking about, Logan?
I'm talking about how, like, I'm ready to start watching wrestling again after the Punk stuff.
Yeah. Ready to get back in.
Wait, what is this? Oh, it's fire.
It's on fire. Yeah, it's like random. It's like random encounters over here.
Oh, they're not actually random encounters because you can see them. They're more.
Oh,
they're more
it's like
like
the Earthbound thing.
They're more like trainer battles.
Yeah, trainer battles and the Earthbound thing.
Mm-hmm. 5-finger discount. Swipe what you can with the steal of a skill. Strip them of their defenses with some alternate mechanics. Okay, how about this then? Let's try this then. There you go. Fantastic. Finally. Defense down.
Amazing.
One more time.
Just one more time.
Hide. See ya.
I wanna hide.
Alright, do not put us to sleep again. No!
Go to sleep.
Dang it! Alright. Fine. We're gonna need to do blank slate again.
You skipped leg day.
Cool, there you go. Smoke bomb. Cool.
Man, that shark person is the biggest thorn in your side, huh?
It can be, yeah. Because, like, what you have going on. It's too bad you can't say your prayers and take your vitamins for temporary strength buffs. So sad. I mean, how long does it take for him to wake up? Probably takes too long. It probably takes way too long. You know what? Would have made this game 10 times better if you could do something like that. But they didn't think that far ahead.
Hold on to your nuts and bolts.
I really wish he just stopped at hold on to your nuts.
No.
But they were scared of the prayers and the vitamins. They
Oh,
knew
no.
that if they put them in, they wouldn't be able to help themselves. What the? Ow.
The humanity.
They wouldn't be able to, like, withstand the prayers and the vitamins. So, like, they were just like, just can't do it.
Can't. You just can't.
Just can't do it. So I need to, like, give them just some gear. Something to, like, make it so that they're not as, like, squishy.
Squish, squish.
A fur jacket. Rat fur jacket. Soft plastic body or hard plastic body. This has such high armor rating. What?
Good lord.
That's a good find. That is a really good find. Armor rating of 15. Shin Music Makers. We'll probably get them something here soon. Go ahead and give you the hard plastic body, that way you're not as squishy. Oh, damn. What the... Oh my god, she's dead. Hold on.
That took a lot.
Oh no. Wait, do I have a script rewrite? So what does all that do? Oh, she is like down. She is very much down right now. I need to find a revive.
Yeah, so you don't have your revives, do you?
I do not have any revives on me, no. Damn it. Okay.
This is bad.
Alright, well, we will get back to the next... Rather, like, we will get to the next story beat, and then we'll kind of close out for the night. Thank you all very much for hanging out with us tonight, by the way. Especially to the people who have, like, you know, hung around basically, like, all this time and have just kind of looked around. I really, really appreciate that. The names of people who are still here with us. We have Zach, we have Ashley. Sorry, we have Ant. We have Ashen Dice. We have Fur Requiem. Hello. We have Kite. We have Virtually God, and we have Xavier. Thanks for hanging out tonight, everyone. I really, really appreciate it. We are wrapping up here, though. Once we get to the next, like, you know, good place, I should say, we will wrap it up.
Yeah.
Nice. The vitamins come in a strangely unmarked container with a syringe.
Ugh.
That's what makes them special, you know? Shark Song, do not put us to sleep. I can't deal with this. Okay, good.
I can't deal with this shit anymore.
I cannot deal. Nice. Go down, no!
This is bad.
Ow, okay, well, okay, that's fine. We're all good there.
That wasn't so bad.
Yeah. And now we gotta pin him. One, 2, 3. Cool.
Let's go.
See you, ref. Thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule.
The way he slides out there, and he's like, whoop.
Yeah, I know, it's great. Right, are you back?
Hey, nice to know she still gets experience despite being dead.
Mm-hmm. That actually kind of makes it more... it makes it more bearable. So.
Yeah, it does. Wait, is she alive? Is she actually alive?
She is, in fact, alive.
Let's go!
Great. Intergender matches in the 80s are way ahead of its time.
Yeah, not wrong.
You wouldn't think it, but it's true, brother.
It's true, Jack.
Jack. Ow. Okay.
Yeah, you know, Logan, more RPGs should do that, where even if your party is dead, they still get experience.
That's part of why I enjoyed, like Pokemon X and Y. So, I enjoy that there was a experience share sort of thing. All right. Now you. Yeah, like way ahead of its time, honestly. Let's see here.
And now every Pokemon game has experience shared.
That's special. Show enemies how hard things are in Boxfall. Rather in Boxwood has a chance to remove a unit completely. Does not work on bosses.
Can I get an assist?
Okay, well let's try that.
Say goodnight.
I'm gonna get rid of you in particular because you have a really bad damage buff, and I don't want that. Nope. Shit. Okay. Let's try that then. The Grande Smash. Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasteland Whale.
Oh no, a whale.
Oh, okay, that's the damage buff.
Oh, not again.
Not again. Ooh, yes, good.
Is that whale? What is that? Wait, a whale? Oh no, we encounter a gacha player.
A gacha player.
Yeah, a whale.
Mystery class detention. Puts unruly students and wrestlers in a timeout. Okay. Failed.
Wow, failed. Failure.
That did nothing. Okay. Great. No!
Oh, he went to sleep.
You know what? Go ahead. You go ahead and pin. Take him out for good. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Cool. Now he's out.
Oh my god, actually.
Surely your characters don't die, unlike the AI wrestling game where you stabbed a man to death, they just have KO status. Believe me, I remember. I remember the death of Laco von Man. Of Laco von Mana. So... I'm well aware of the sacrifice that he made. Okay. It doesn't matter. We're good.
Let's go.
Alright, level up's good. Cool.
Level up.
Spice so nice. Teacher appreciation. Triple Iron Maiden. Ooh, okay. But no, funnily enough, the person in like the novel, or rather in the EFED, the guy that like died in a hardcore match. He has since changed like his actual VTubing name. So.
Oh, that's funny.
So like that actually makes things a bit more simple for me because now, in the EFED, that's simply what he's reincarnated into now. So
that's funny.
He's now reincarnated into his new VTuber persona. So I think I'm done fighting you guys. I'm okay.
I don't feel like it.
I'm okay not fighting you for a second. Oh my god, you have like these ramps here that you can't vault over to, just like in Pokemon.
Ah!
Anyways, ad time, everyone. Sorry. Raw rolls on.
Oh boy, you know what that means.
Well, play it, Zach. Play the Gitsy.
Play the Gitsy, Zach.
Play it. Okay, good.
Let's see if we get a new one. Get a new one.
I don't think this is a new one. This is not the new one, but...
So what do you think Super Mario...
Oh, hey!
Oh, hey! Saving the princess? Wrong. In the very beginning of the game, Bowser does kidnap the famous lady of video games, but you rescue her after a quick battle on a falling chandelier.
A game literally lets you use a legit knife and slit his throat. I was gobsmacked.
Throwing everyone outside. The princess and Bowser are lost.
The AI really just went wild that
In
time.
your quest, you actually join your enemy, Bowser, and discover the princess in Booster's tower. Who the heck is Booster? Who knows?
Booster.
The princess
Who
is a
knows?
feisty gal. She
It's
even
a
tricks Bowser
feisty
into kissing
gal.
Mario as a prank. Don't mess with the princess. She doesn't like to play games. But we like to play this
Ironic.
one. Super Mario RPG is full of fun. The battle controls are the best of any RPG. Other Nintendo characters also have cameos. Donkey Kong appears in the jungle. Link from the Zelda games is found sleeping in one of the inns, and the 8-bit ancestor of Mario is found
I mean,
behind
to
a
be
curtain in
fair,
Booster's
Ashley,
tower.
the AI
The
was
3D
simply like
graphics of this
doing what
game
it thought
are
was best, and
outstanding.
what it thought was
You will
best
love
was
this game.
murder.
The only flaw is lower hit detection outside of the battle screens and the low difficulty level. You'll beat this game in a week tops if you play a lot every day. Nevertheless, you have to play this game. So rent it, have a ball playing it, beat it, and return it. Mario is back on top.
It sure
Grab a
is,
pen or
George.
pencil.
Hey, you know
It's
that's
Super Mario RPG.
hey, you know
You have
this
to play
game that
3
we
different
said was like
songs
really
at
really
3 different
good? Just
times
rent it,
in
don't
order
buy
to
it.
win membership cards for the drink bar in Tadpole Pond. The last song is the hardest to play. The notes are la ti do, re so, do re mi. I hope you're writing this down. Look closely at the placement of the tadpole shown here to see where the notes go. Again, the notes are la ti do, re so, do re mi. We'll leave it up for the slow writers out there. Playing this tune will win you the soprano card, which will allow you to buy the Caro Caro Colas at the drink bar. These
You know what
special
I
colas
imagine,
restore
Zach?
all hit points and
What?
magic points for your party.
I imagine
Some
like
games
this
really tick you
playing.
off from time to time. Super Mario RPG is one
I imagine
of them.
this playing
In one
on like
section
just
of the
somebody's
game, you have to
TV in
climb
like the
vines to reach
90s.
Nimbus Land, which is floating high in the
but-
sky. Our
Is
game
it-
guy Tom Allen was so mad
Hi, Tom.
he almost broke his controller in half.
Ah!
The play control in this area is awful, especially this jump right here. He's still trying to make this jump without falling.
Jump.
We'll have the ending to this otherwise fun
It's
game
really
on a
not
future
even
episode. So
that
keep
hard,
watching the
though.
show for more coverage of that famous mustachioed plumber.
Just go left, dude. Just go straight left, you'll get it.
That was such a hard time. I
Rent
just
it
like,
from your
ah.
local Blockbuster.
Exactly.
But no, like I
Family's
just
video.
I just kind of imagine that playing on someone's TV in the 90s at like 2 a.m. in Maryland, you know?
Uh-huh. And I need to write it down, be like, oh shit.
Like you're sitting there drenched in sweat at 2 a.m. as you watch Mr. George Wood tell you to get out a pen and paper. I don't know, man. I've seen that newfangled Dungeons and Dragons. I don't let my kid play with that stuff. My no, they really are just wild.
Mm-hmm. Logan, I'm sure you're in immense pain watching Tom Allen failing that jump.
It really isn't even that hard. I mean, like, listen, I hate to be like I hate to be Mr. Backseater, right? But like, I'll be Mr. Backseater for this. You just have to go right. Just go straight right. Stop going at an angle. You're not supposed to go at an angle. Stop going at the fucking angle. You'll be fine.
You don't have to keep climbing to the very top as well.
Nope.
There's a leaf right there.
Mm-hmm. There's very much a leaf right there, but you know, Tom Allen, the game guy, is all-knowing, you know? He's all-knowing.
You know, it's funny, Logan. They call him the game guy, and you know, you think I keep thinking when we say that.
I keep thinking of Game Dude.
No, not Game. No, not Game Dude, but Game Guy from Mario Party 3.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
shy guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Look how much longer it takes to select Wario.
Wow.
I flew so close to the sun.
You got careless.
Okay, I need to like heal them up. Hold on.
Man, I think these hazard environments will kill you before the actual enemies.
They probably will. Like my my thing is, I don't even like. It's like this is super easy. I just keep like getting impatient. So.
Oh.
You would think I was Tom Allen.
Hey.
Again, chat, I really do think it would be fun if we just, like, went out of our way to make a Gitsy video. I think it would...
How?
I think that has a lot of potential. But how?
It gave me in the Biden years.
Yeah. Git B. We'll call it Git B. Okay, one thing I like is that the guys don't respawn, it seems. What the fuck?
Do you need to beat all the enemies?
I might need to. Especially his review for Lara Croft, where he suggested the creators make a game in which Lara gets breast cancer. Imagine the drama.
Dude, I'm really hoping. I really I was really hoping one of the Gitsy videos for the stream would be the Tomb Raider game. because of the Tomb Raider HD remaster.
I mean, you can just redeem it and hope it comes up, you know?
Yeah, but I like doing ad breaks because I don't want to interrupt your play.
Chat, what's better, this or Gitsy? I'll leave it up to you. Find a way through the junkyard. I wonder what these controllers do. Hey, that's not fair.
That's not fair.
What the stop! Ow!
Ah! Stop going into the fire.
I'm just allowing myself to get super fucked up.
Man, you're gonna be having third-degree burns once this is over.
It'll be that deep, huh?
Yeah.
Do you know what the difference between first, second, and third-degree burns are? Zach? Because I learned recently.
No, actually, I don't.
It's very, it's pretty gnarly. Basically, like, it's... sorry, basically without going into a detail, it's essentially how much of, like, the skin the burn breaks.
I do! I see that.
And how many layers, it breaks.
Oh, like an onion?
Yeah. Yes, actually. Think of it like that.
Oh, damn.
Burns are like onions.
Damn.
They stink and they make you cry, though, so, you know, that's,
Hello, Mario.
So, you know, it's actually accurate. Hey there, Warhorse. I see Gina was right about you being back on. We are back on, bud. We're back and we're back.
You just need to... Do you really just need to kill all the enemies? Because we keep going around in circles.
Wait. I keep missing this console here.
Oh, which means you need to beat him first.
Yep, I need to beat him because he's fucking guarding the console. So, yes, I actually do need to beat the enemies.
Yeah, there's a... I don't feel like fighting you, and the game is just like, you made a grave mistake.
I was like, I think you mean to say you really feel like fighting him. Choppa. Yeah, hey there, Warhorse. How you doing? Let's prep. Prepare for tag team.
Group project.
Holla.
Group project. Here we go. What the? No gimmicks available.
No!
So, like, hold on. Smoke bomb. Is it like Kermit there? Or like Oscar the Grouch?
I mean, Kermit keeps on.
Logan has a knack for making things better. Aw, thanks, boo. Fuck. Okay. Blank slate. Alright, muchacho. Let's go. Alright, get the fucking slam in there, and welcome to the jam.
Yeah.
Come on this way, and welcome to my fucking asshole. There you go. Just walk up and gut punch these guys.
Like, damn, they don't mess around.
No, they really don't mess around.
Take this.
There you go.
Just slap.
Cool.
Let's go.
Monkey wrench.
Mm.
And more tag team maneuvers that I can't use? Don't mind if
Let's
I do.
Go.
So wait, can I like switch out these things? Oh. Oh, I get it, I think.
Oh my god, look, you love what Ashley did.
Welcome to my asshole. I'm not sure I want to be in a match where that's a move.
Welcome to my asshole.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my ass. Is this cooking? Sorry. Hi, Squidward. I am doing okay overall, just chilling overall after finishing up some sonas, along with having to fix some stuff around the house. It's always good to have a living space where you feel like you're in control, yeah. Actually, I think Rikishi did that. I mean, like, listen, that was Rikishi's calling card, you know?
Yeah.
The stink face was his calling card. Every match he was like, welcome to my ass.
He did it for the Rock.
he did. Disable the target's special attacks for that much. Wait, what happens if I taunt? There you go. Wait, defense is down for all of us? What happened there?
Everyone, including your enemies.
Ah.
Maybe.
Toy Box Jimmy addresses his enemies. Also, I'm glad more are loving this game since I did get to play the demo at a con. It is very fun so far. It's, the role-playing game mechanics are kind of, within the ballpark of what I like out of games like this. So... So for me, it is very much a winner. So far. Monkey Wrench disabled target special attacks. Oh, so like, it can backfire on us. Wait, let's see. How about you? Let's try that. Okay. How about this? Detention. Blank slate. Wait, what if I try to put you in detention? Work. Yeah, buddy! There we go.
Let's go.
Right, now I'm gonna friggin' punch a Pez dispenser. Nice. What happens if I do this? Ooh! Okay, so like I don't even need to like do that second prompt. It just does it. Okay. We'll just keep punching him.
Yep. Punch him.
All right. Pin him. 2, 3. There you go.
Hey.
Cool. Where'd you play it first, Warhorse? But no, just like telling opponents welcome to my ass, like that was Rikishi's calling card. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that he slams and welcomes people to it. Too cool. I don't think I've ever asked you, Warhorse, are you much of a fan of wrestling, or are you just kind of an observer? Are you more of a casual fan, I suppose? If so, you are a relatively rare breed. You seem pretty squishy. I'm gonna focus my efforts on you real quick. Man, dude. counter garbage dumped. Hey!
Don't throw junk at me.
I'll punch you for that.
Punch him.
Ooh. Okay, cool. Shark Song, do not put to sleep, please. Okay, good. Good. Ah! Logan may try to convert you. If not, I will convert you. Don't worry.
Don't fall for it.
Why not? I'm introducing you to one of my favorite things in the world. So... that aside from, you know, recent weeks has brought me consistent happiness throughout my life. So... 99% of the time, it brings me happiness all the time. So yeah. Natural science class. Today's weather report, pain. Deals water damage to all units. Okay, so like she can do like elemental stuff. Got it. Repair tag team maneuver. Let's go ahead and try that.
Team up time.
There's a small local con. Hold my purse. A combination attack that will pump up the crowd too. It deals damage and increases height by 5.
Domination is the only way to win the classroom.
Hot peppers. What? Okay. Whoa. Wow. Now that's heat, brother.
Yeah. Literally.
Now there's some heat, brother. Cool, we got him. It was a small local con that is an offshoot of one of the big cons. They had a small game booth there, and this was one of the games. I know the bigger one they have here has a bigger focus on games and anime. Well, hey, it's still cool that you were able to sort of play this a little sooner than most. This is my first time playing it. I don't know if there was a demo for it, but if there was, I certainly did not find the time to play it. But hey, I'm enjoying it now. That's what matters. Oh wow, we've been going for over 4 hours. Yep, next...
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy.
Next big story thing, we will call it a night.
That's what we said an hour ago.
Well, yeah, but that's because we haven't solved... Listen, Zach, we haven't found the big story beat yet.
I know. I'm just...
Alright. I'm still trying to find the... I need to finish the story. There is a video out there of Gmod wrestlers in like high school, and one of them is Lanite and Cody Rhodes. Oh hey, hold on. Toy box, what's a rat like you doing in these parts? Did he just call me? Is anyone gonna touch that one? Anyways, boss, we're just passing through here to visit a friend. Truce breakers don't have no friends around here, Jimmy. You.
Oh, that was a double negative. I forgot.
Ah, didn't you have enough last time? You and your blanket are on my turf this time, chump. My turf, my terms, my team. Get him, Scrapjaw.
Whoa.
Whoa, well, Dios mío, what is that? That ain't no normal junkyard rodent. That's Scrapjaw.
That was a double negative.
Scrapjaw's a big wrestling fan, blanket boy. He's been studying all the body slams and chokeholds in the biz and worked up some nasty defenses.
I guess this is our big story event, Logan.
More fighting. Cool. You know what? It's a good place to end off tonight on a boss fight. So, yeah. Let's get him. Strip them of their defenses with some alternative mechanics. Okay, well, we may as well soften him up here real quick. Or you can just fail too. That's also good.
Yeah, that was worse.
That was some dog shit. Daily Apple. Prepare for the tag team gimmick. Let's try it.
Group project.
First, Toy Box Buster. Combination attack that will pump up the crowd too. Deals damage and hype. Alright, Heat Brother, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh man, that barely did anything to him. Oh man. Okay, well that's not too bad.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. Okay, and he has fire damage on him. That's good. We will prepare the tag team here. And we will do attention. Actually, no. Wait, what is the likelihood of this hitting?
Today's announcement? Hey.
Let's see. Oh no, they're immune to it. Shit. Okay. Toy Box Blockbuster. The higher they are, the spicier they fall. Deals damage and has a chance to cause fatigue. Ooh. Okay.
Damn.
Electric chair neck breaker. Okay, now that's my favorite move. It's my favorite move in this game now. Fantastic. Actually, no. I'm gonna taunt. Reduce damage. They're like, yeah. Reduce damage on their end. Let's see. Daily Apple. Nah. I'll just go ahead and strike. Good. South of the border stunner. Let's see. Holy shit! Oh yeah, baby! I was ready! Fur stench. Demotivated again? Man. No, you know what? We're gonna top off the hype meter. Go ahead and give him the Daily Apple.
Today's announcement? Hey.
Cool. No, I actually haven't been to a convention in a long time, chat. I don't think I've been to one since BronyCon 2019. God, it has been a bit.
Yeah, been a long while.
Just like there really isn't really any in my area, you know? Like there isn't one that's like, you know, I'm easily accessible anyways. So
you need to go to Indianapolis for that shit.
I need to go to yeah, like either something like that or in Detroit. But like even then there really isn't like too much, and I would like to I don't just want to, you know, go to a con just for the sake of it. I would want to go with people. Are you good, Zach?
Oh yeah, I'm good over here.
Okay.
No, I was like, yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
I'm just starting to feel the fatigue is all.
Well, we're nearly done. Ah, this isn't over, Jimmy. Boxwood will never be yours.
I am the best in what I do.
It already is, rat.
Good job, Jimmy. You're undoubtedly the best gang leader in Boxwood now.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
You think all there is to life is being the top tough guy in this town?
Is that half a lesson in alliteration? Take it easy, Dr. Vane. Let's find Slimy. We'll find Slimy next time.
Yeah.
We'll find Slimy next time. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. This is very fun. I'm really, really enjoying this. But for now, we're gonna raid out to someone. Jesus Christ. How long have we been going? 4 hours, 15 minutes. I wonder if there's even anyone still awake at this point.
That's a good question.
Well, while I have you all here, I may as well do this. Join the Discord. We are playing, rather we are watching My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 2. We will finish it next week. That'll be a lot of fun. And follow socials as well. I now have a card.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll find Slippy Toad later. It's as much fun you can have without cold-blooded murder. Amen. Amen, sister. Amen.
My God.
Let's see if there's anyone who's not doing any cold-blooded murder on stream. Should be pretty easy to do.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how Twitch's TOSs have changed. Maybe they woke up one day and realized that this is all kosher, you know? It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta trim the herd. Trim the fat.
Wait, hey, Logan, do you want to play Gitsy one more time?
Yeah, go ahead and play Gitsy while I fucking get something going here.
Okay. Well, what review is it this time?
LMAO, it's like illegal radio station and disc.
Fine.
Fine.
The first Nintendo 64 game released by Nintendo in 1997.
Again, chat, I really do think it would be funny for us to like just create our own Gitsy style video. I'll even get someone that sounds like George Wood.
Hey, look, guys, I found the actual George Wood.
I found him in my backyard. He was just kind of sitting there.
Available with Nintendo 64. Since racing games, by their very nature, move at blistering speed.
Illegal radio station in Disco Elysium. Oh, what, Gitsy?
Causing environments to literally pop onto the screen in a most unrealistic fashion. The speed at which Nintendo 64 produces the graphics is an unbelievable 93.75 megahertz.
Ah, yes, my grandma will want to buy that game with that information.
And it just goes off course.
Since Mario Kart 64 uses
we'll go ahead and
ports on the front of the system.
We'll go ahead and raid out to my friend Chickens here. She's playing the Bureau XCOM Declassified, which is like a weird take on the series. It isn't like strategy based.
Peach, Toad, Yoshi,
it's more like a third-person shooter kind of thing. That was when like the genre wasn't all that great. Oh no, ad break incoming. Fuck. Okay, we gotta wrap up. Thank you all so much for hanging out again. Join the Discord. We're watching ponies. Follow my shit. It's in the card there. And we'll see you next time with more of this. I've been Giraffe, the very large enjoyer of all things gaming, wrestling, other hyperfixations. That has been the President Undead Zachary Taylor, and that over there has been the Giraffe Homunculus with all his Cheetos. And say something insane like it's normal. You're right, I could just be George Wood. But we'll talk about that later on. We'll talk about it later. For now, have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.